it comes until this day. Now, after today, we'll just be waiting for swearing in for the different candidates who shall have made it, and of course, those that are elected. Now, still with me in studios before we do the wrap-up here is the Honorable Algon Silas. He's the Member of Parliament for Kumi Municipality. He's an independent candidate, an independent Member of Parliament, and of course, doing his second term representing the people of Kumi there, but also with a vast experience in local governance or government, because that's where he was before joining Parliament, and of course also served as a member of the Committee of Public Service and Local Governments Committee in Parliament. Honorable Algon, I'm still with you here, and of course still together. I'm sure that when we took a break, you managed to talk to a few people, even in Kumi, to know how business is actually working on there, and looking at the future of local governments and where it is. Are we on the right track, or we think we missed something somewhere and it may take us more time to get back on track?
I think we would say we're on the right track.
We are.
Yes, but now what matters is what are we doing on that track? I think that is the issue. So my major concern is still the issue of the capacity to collect revenue, because that is the lifeblood of any local council. How do they get access to revenue to run the business of the day? So for me, it is something that is critical. Number two, we are talking about the human resource. How many of these local governments have the capacity to recruit enough staff to run the daily business of the districts, of the sub-counties, of the municipal divisions, of the town councils? How many? So there are still so many issues to be attended to. We are on the right track, but what are we doing on the track? If we are running at what speed? What is the speed? Our speedometer is not at the right position, probably. That's what I should say.
Okay. How does it feel when local governments return money to the treasury after a financial year? We've normally seen this, and you hear the issues of there is no medicine in hospitals, teachers have not gotten their salaries, medical workers demand their salaries, different government staff at different levels, and you hear that at a particular time, the local government, this district is actually sending back money, remitting back money to the consolidated fund because they didn't use the money. How does it feel that these things keep happening to us? Not 1 year, not 2 years, not 3 years, but it becomes part of us, that we know we send money, but this money will not be used and it will be brought back to the center.
Of course, it feels so bad. So bad. It's not a good thing. And you know, once such a thing happens in a particular district, it shines a very bad kind of light on such a team. For you to return money when the whole community is waiting for a service for the whole year. People are struggling here for part of the cake at the national level. As members of parliament, we struggle and we ask, please send something to my district. Imagine you send the money and the money doesn't do the work and it's bounced back this way. It feels so bad. It is so irritating. Yeah, it's like an ulcer. It's a very bad one.
Yes. Should Parliament consider sometime in the future to incorporate local governments at the budgeting processes, because I think they are really not involved in that, and it's business, I think, that is left to you to decide for them, and maybe coming with the outfit of Yuluga, which I also don't think has enough bargaining powers in a way. But are you considering in the future to actually incorporate districts to be part and parcel at the forefront of the budgeting processes in this country?
At the national level.
At the national
yes,
level.
First of all, if I am to tell you, they are already a part of the process. Because first of all, when the budgeting process is initiated, remember there are a lot of consultations that take place at the regional level, at whatever level. So nearly everybody, as long as you are highly interested, you'll be participating in this budgeting process. Because it's a process, not just an event. It starts from somewhere. There are conferences everywhere. But I don't see a situation where we're going to have maybe all the LOC files, the RDCs and what have you come to the House of Parliament to decide on the portioning of the money. No. So I think decentralization will now mean that those people, once they have gotten their block of money, will now decide on the details as to how they are going to spend it. And I think it still works there. The main issue is the portion between the local governments and that remains with the central government. How do we deal with that snag? Changing the amount, changing the percentage, lifting the figure above what we are seeing now, so that there's a better service delivery. Because what happens here is that the national will send the money to the districts. The councils down there, because of the decentralization policy, is the one to sit down and decide on what they are going to budget upon. And you know, even right at the very bottom level, we are supposed to have what they call the PDCs, the parish development committees. Even at that level, those people are supposed to generate plans at the parish level. That is now you see the essence of having the councillors, the area councillor. You need to have the parish chief. The parish chief is meant to coordinate with the councillor of the area and the LOC one to see the needs of their people within their vicinity, within their locality. This is the grassroots level. That one helps us to gain the bottom-top approach to planning and development. And I think if we see, we may not necessarily need to have everybody in Kampala, but as long as they participate fully in these processes, then we see some light at the end of the tunnel.
When you were still working at the district, at the local government in Kumi or in Bokedea,
yes.
I don't know the quality of the political leadership that you had at that time, but I know that you are a qualified man and you are a studied man. If I'm only thinking, and I'm ifing it, if you did not have very competent political leaders, did you have any problems? Were you happy that you had incompetent political leaders as a technocrat? Were you happy about that? Did you find problems, or that's what you wanted, that they couldn't give you enough, they couldn't give you a lot of hard time to manage this and that?
It was a mixed scenario, because first of all, you find here you may have like 6 people who don't have very serious academic qualifications, but their behaviors differ. You find that somebody doesn't have very high qualifications, but their character is very good. So sometimes they are
honest, they have integrity.
They are honest, they are people of integrity, they keep time, they really, when they do something, you can have the trust on them.
They don't have qualifications.
They don't have serious qualifications.
But they're good in character.
But they're good in character, and they're honest, they are not corrupt. But you have a situation where sometimes you'll have 1 or 2 people who are not well studied, but also they have funny character, they can do anything, they are rudimentary behavior. So a mix, sometimes that happens in the society. I've seen even people who are well studied, people who are having bachelors, they have a master's, but when they behave as though they had never seen any blackboard. And you just say, what happened?
So it's a mixed scenario.
It is a mixed scenario. But I think it is better to have people who have studied to be in certain positions. I think it's a good thing. For purpose of internalizing what you are faced with, it might be so good that let us have some minimum qualification. We are not trying to abuse, insult, or what those who are not highly qualified. No. But certain things should be somewhere.
Well, now coming back to you personally as Member of Parliament, I want to think, what's your agenda for the next Parliament, 2021, 2026? What are these things that you have and say, by the grace of God, if I have the life until 2025, 2026, this should be my contribution to Parliament, this should be my contribution to Uganda, this should be my contribution to Kumi, or even Teso region, as it would be. What are these things that you have and say, for every moment that I will get, I'll make sure that this is driven through?
Yes, because for me, first of all, in my head, what I'm trying to think about is, one, we've got to fight as members of Parliament to reduce the gaps which are existing in the service delivery at the various levels of governance. Because you see, for instance, if you just isolate the health subset and you talk about it, you find a health facility. For instance, I can tell you about Kumi Health Center 4, a place where you are supposed to be having a fully fledged laboratory. You must be having X-ray services, scanning services. You need to have a maternity ward, a fully efficient and working theater for those mothers who fail to deliver normally. You need to have what they call a surgical ward. The men should be having their ward alone, the women equally the same. The children's ward should be there. But most of these gaps are still existing. It is not only for Kumi. At a national level, it is across the board. So I think we need to concentrate in this term really, and ask the government, first of all, to focus on the gaps. Let us try to reduce the gaps as much as possible, even before we start talking about new facilities. It's a good thing. 2, you find that there are places where people don't have a particular service totally. That one now becomes segregation, that becomes discrimination, that is unlawful, it is unconstitutional. You find that the entire village, the entire community doesn't have a health center 2, a health center 3. They have to walk for 20 kilometers to get a service. Yet there are others who are having all these things around them. To make it worse, these are people who are poor.
Okay.
What are you going to do about them? So for me, I think, let us address these gaps.
Okay.
Let us fight to make sure that we fulfill our policies.
Okay.
If the policy is saying that every division in a municipality, every sub-county must have a health facility at maybe health center 3 level, let it be so. So we are going to push in my agenda to push government to support me in making sure that we address such gaps. Also when it comes to education subsector, what are we doing in matters of fulfilling policy on the schools? Yes. My Northern Division doesn't have a secondary school. What is government going to do to help me to support these people? Because education is a right. So these people need to access these education services. So there is still a lot. We are talking about a Myoga. How many people are accessing money? The youth are stranded. They are struggling. They don't have money for incubating businesses. What is it that the government is going to do? So I think it is my duty as a representative of those people to move motions in the parliament, urging government to do what I feel is the right to reduce these gaps.
Before I let you go, Honorable, because I know you're even supposed to be in house this afternoon, but before I let you go, we bought you a car in 2016. Do you still have that car?
I do have.
Do you still want another car?
Of course, this one's old already.
Hey, this one is already.
Yes, first of all, I bought the car which I bought was already an old car. An old car.
Why did you buy an old car?
Because the money was not enough to buy a new car.
So you bought an old car?
Goodness sake, I went last time to Toyota Uganda. I said, let me first scan and find out how much a car costs. Now, if you are going for a V8, which should be for a VIP, they told me it is on the way coming. We don't have them right now in stock, but if they come, it is for around 589 plus million. So that is almost 600 million. You are going to get 200 million. So which new car will you get? Number 2, a pickup.
How much are they going to give you? 200?
Maybe around that, because last time that's what I got. And you will not get it in one single piece. You get it in 2 pieces.
It comes in
get 100,
then another.
Then you wait, then get another, and you know appetite is there because the problems are not redundant; they are still there. There are many problems, not only the car.
So what you bought is depleted. You need a new one.
First of all, it's not only car. It should be retired a long time ago. It is supposed to be for dismantling, and it's only for spares in the Kiseka here. So what are we doing? I'm telling you, we are in trouble. So sometimes, as people think that the members of parliament are enjoying,
that is what hurts all of us. That these people are asking for cars every other time.
They are asking for cars, but I'm telling you, they are asking for all the cars. Yes. When they tell people that it's 200 million, they think, it is too much what? Money. Now, go for a wish. If you get a problem in a wish, they say, but we gave you money, what happened? You see?
So you want to pick up?
You need something bigger.
Okay.
You have very rough roads. You need to reach out to the voters. The roads are still in a quagmire. You cannot move easily in a car which is nearly seated down. You cannot. So what are you going to do? We need better. We deserve better. I'm telling you. Sometimes people say, abuse our later. No. A pickup in Toyota Uganda right now is going for around 240 million. A Toyota Hilux. Now, if you give 200 million, will they give you for less than that? Will they tell you that, okay, since you're a member of parliament, you pay only 200, we shall give you? And you are also giving installment? So what is going to happen? It is also embarrassing as a leader who is leading the people to have a car which is in a certain state. It's not good. It's not good. Yes, sometimes people fear to talk about the truth, but it's good to say the truth.
No, you're very honest. I thank you. The truth has set you free. The truth has set you free. Thank you so much, Honorable Organ. Your final comment before I let you go.
My final comment is that first of all, those who are out there voting, Those who have started the counting, if the time is already on or about to start, let us continue with the peace. Let us maintain the peaceful election, because it means a lot for the local governance of this country. We are at the very tip of finalizing with the election process. Let us not damage it. Let us keep the peace. Let us continue. You may lose now, but you may lose to win the next morning. So don't lose hope. Let us not be violent. Okay. Yes, in an election, there are two things and there are two letters. Letter W for win, L for a loss. It is either win or a loss. If it's a loss, it is not that you are going to hell. No. So, and if you win, you don't go to heaven. Yeah, if you win, you want to win. So it's not a change over it. And you know, the next day will always be there. So let us be there. Let us trust. Okay. Let us be there. Let's be disciplined. Avoid violence. Okay. Let's conclude it in a good way.
I want to thank you so much, Honorable Ogon Silas, Member of Parliament for Kumi Municipality, representing the people in there, and of course the Member of Parliament elect for 2021-2026. Now, as we conclude this down, we'll now again interest you with another story here, where the Secretary General of the National Resistance Movement Party, Honorable Justin Kasule Lumumba, has also received the petition from the Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's lawyers. Now, let's hear this report as we continue with the discussion together with my colleagues James Mututa and Akola Mazima. We'll return.
Please make sure that all the pages are signed and dated. File here. Because you have been serving them, you need to file. Yeah, we are here to be served as the presidential candidate who won, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Tibahabura Museveni, gave instructions to the party lawyers under the company of KK Advocates, and they've been served. And I'm here on behalf of the NRM party that sponsored the candidate to witness that. And it has been done, and here we are, going back to look at the grounds in the petition and also wait for the program from court. Then we shall do the needful. But I want to tell members of NRM, those who voted His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, everything was done within the law. And we have our declaration forms ready. And when we call on you to come and swear an affidavit, please do come, because we must defend our victory.
Finally, we've gotten relief after traversing almost the entire Kampala trying to find the first respondent to serve him personally as the law mandates. He has instructed KK Advocates, and they've notified court, and here we are. We have served them before the registrar of the Supreme Court, and now our work is done. We're just going to file an affidavit of service. We have already served the Attorney General and the Electoral Commission, so we just await a date from court on when to have the pre-hearing meeting.
Well, thank you so much. Now, Councillor Meli there, serving Justin Kasule Lumumba, Secretary General of the National Resistance Movement Party. Of course, as the law mandates, they've managed to serve the first respondent, in this case, who is General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibahabura, candidate of the National Resistance Movement Party and chairman there, because they decided to go to court, which is very civil and which is the way to go. Now, like Councillor Meli there says, they have some relief because they've managed to do that. He reminds me of a time when when somebody served Ronald Muwenda Mutebi, forgetting that Ronald Muwenda Mutebi at the same time is a Kabaka of Buganda. So the man struggled with his petition, with his struggle to serve the Kabaka because he just noticed that you just couldn't walk into the Kabaka to say, here what this is. But just before we get into the discussion, we have a report to file from Entebbe, where our reporter Sula is. We'll get to Sula to hear from Sula and to let us know what is actually happening in Entebbe.
Omulabi wangu mulungi nkwaniriza nnyo Maria Gabriel emisana ag'olunaku olwaleero. Nze Wendi nyimiridde mu bitundu by'Entebbe ku kifo ekimu ekironderwako ekimanyiddwa nga Baita Babiri polling station. Wabula njagala okutegeeza nti nakedde mu bitundu by'e Kajeesa eyo okulaba embeera nga bw'eyimiridde. Okuvuganya okw'amaanyi kuli wakati wa meya aliyo mu kiseera kino Byekwaso Patrick Nelson ne munna Nup omujja ate kati avuganya okutwala Entebbe eno. Ssenyondo Ndawula Abdul Bashir okuvuganya okw'amaanyi nno kwakaasa mmemme kuli wakati w'abo babiri abo.
Erinnya lyange nze Kayondo Ndawula Al Bashir, meya to be oba meya alindiridde okulayira olw'embeera bwentunulira ekituufu omuwendo gw'abantu tebajjumbidde nnyo kalulu kano. Tunulira wano nti nga nze Bashir bwe naaba mmaze okuwangula ekifo kino kiki kye nsuubira Kajansi Town Council okutuukako nti ekisookera ddala nti twava mu mbeera y'okubeera nti twava mu sub county kitegeeza ekyalo ne tudda mu town council ne kitegeeza ekibuga. Bwe tuba twadda mu kibuga nsuubira nti ekisookera ddala kwe kulaba nti tuteekamu enguudo ezikoleddwa nga za kolansi. Ekyo ngenda kulaba nti nkikola ki nkirwanyisiza ddala okulaba nti tukituusa ku mutendera ogugwanidde. Then ekyokubiri kwe kulaba nti tutebenkeza naddala physical planning ya Kajansi Town Council tubeere n'enkola nti emyala we giri nga emyala egyo gisobodde okukola ki okukola obulungi. N'ekirala ntunulidde ebintu nga kasasiro. Kajansi Town Council talina weesuula kasasiro. Kati mu mbeera eno nsuubira nti bwe naaba mpiseemu nina okulaba nti nsaka emikwano okuva ebweru okulaba nti tusobola okufuna ebimotoka ebikuŋŋaanya kasasiro n'okufuna ekifo we tusobola okuŋŋaanyiza ki kasasiro oyo. Ekyo kye kimu ku biyinza okuba nti bitangira endwadde. Kati ekyo bwe mba nkikoze bwe ntyo kitegeeza n'ebyobulamu mba mbizingidde waki wamu.
Oluvannyuma ate nvuddeko mu bitundu ebyo nenjobekerako mu bitundu by'e Namulanda. Eno nno tusanze abalonzi abasinga obungi babukeereza nkokola. Enkoko bw'oba oli awo oyinza okugamba nti bagikutte mu okulaba nga balonda abakulembeze baabwe. Okwawukanako n'obulobuzi bubaawo ng'ogyeko aka President Museveni oba akababaka ba Parliament n'abakulembeze b'eggwanga. Akalulu kano kajjumbiddwa nnyo ebiro bino oba omulundi guno. Era nga njagala okutegeezaako gwe omulabi wange bw'oba oli awo mu ngeri emu oba endala. Akalulu kano ak'okulonda abassentebe b'amagombola ke kagenda okukomekkereza akalulu ka 2021 akabadde akakaasa mmemme ennyo.
Nze Najingo Grace nga nkiikirira omuluka gw'e Namulanda nesimbye okuwa Woman Councillor era nga nsuubira okukolera abantu baffe ab'e Namulanda nga nsuubira okukiikirira abakyala okubaweereza mu bintu byonna okubakiikirira ku ggombolola okunoonya ebibiina ebiyambako abakyala okulaba nga nabo bavaayo basobola okubeerezaawo abaana baabwe. Tuyingire ne mu bitongole ebyo ebiyambako abaana bamulekwa babeere nga basobola okuba nga bayambibwako n'okugjayo ebyo byonna ebibeera ku ggombolola okubibatuusaako mu kitundu kyaffe era nga neeyama okukola ebyo byonna nga bantaddemu obwesige.
Oluvannyuma neyongeddeko ate mu Town Council y'e Katabi. Eno nno nayo ng'aliyo okuvuganya okw'amaanyi. Kinajjukirwa nti abavuganya ku kifo kya ssentebe w'eggombola eya Katabi Town Council bali abantu 9. Wabula ku bantu 9 bano abantu 3 be bavuganye nnyo okusinga. Muno nno mwe muli ne incumbent oba oyo meya aliyo mu kiseera kino Ronald Kalima Basamulekere nga waliwo nno ne munna DP Robert Mukasa ongemberanyi eri yamanyi nnyo eri wakati wa babiri bano. Naye nga omulabi wange omulungi tutayinza kwerabira nti waliyo ne munna NRM Tombi Alugaba oyinza okugamba nti asirise nnyo naye nga ate ekiyinza okubaawo akawungezi kaleero oba n'olunaku olw'enkya ng'akakiiko k'ebyokulonda bwe kanaaba kasazeewo oyinza obutamanya. Naye nga bw'otwaliza awamu embeera ekyali zikakkamu abalonzi bajjumbidde newankubadde bwe mbadde ate sayidi y'e Kajansi eyo kyeneerabidde waliwo polling station emu gye bayise Kawoto B. Katono nnyo abalonzi bazire okulonda kuno olw'okuba nti ebyokulondesa bituuse kikeerezi. Ate kisinza okubenyamiza nti bwe baleese ebyokulondesa abaleese bennyini oba aba presiding officers ne batandika ate okubasaba soda nti basooke baguleyo kasoda. omuzira kisaana abagulya ka soda wabula ate ne batandika okubanga balwanira soda oyo kijje abalonze mu mbeera wabaddewo okusikagana omugwa wabula ate embeera emaze nedda mu nteeko wenviriddeyo nga bakyagenda mu maaso n'okusula akalulu kaabwe
Well, thank you so much, Sula from Entebbe, right above here, and of course quite a number of places there where you are traversing, and that's where it is. Now, fortunately, I just love it when people get there, and even if it's soda or water or anything, that actually causes that struggles there with them, but at least they've managed to go and do the voting. Akola Mazima, you're very welcome.
The pleasure is mine.
What is your assessment so far? I know you've been out there trying to look and analyze and find out from different places what is actually happening and how everything is playing out.
Well, I think just like we saw in at the district level or local council 5, the voters turnout or turn-up is actually very low as compared to the president and members of parliament. When we elect him on 14th, actually people came in big numbers, but now we see actually the number is still falling. And I would imagine really this is when people should come up in large numbers, because directly, at least in one way or the other, you need the chairperson LC3, the parish councillor, you need them, because every other time they are the people you actually get to solve your immediate issues. And how I wish people really can understand this, that actually instead of concentrating on the top, maybe a member of parliament actually to concentrate on the chairperson LC3 because he's the person who is always going to be there for you. But again, also what I'm also seeing, of course, from what I've heard, is that definitely in central region it's going to be the competitions between NUP and NRM. Then in Western Uganda it is NRM versus the independents. Yes, in eastern, some parts of eastern it's FDC, NRM, then independents, and then northern Uganda it's actually independents and NRM. Save for Lango sub-region, where actually the competition is between two friendly forces, UPC and NRM. Yes.
Well, but from that, of course, at the end of the day, we'll see who actually wins. Now, just looking at the importance of the local council 3 positions, as you just talked about them here, do you think that well, even when we push it into the hearts and the minds of the people, that yes, these are very important positions for them, do they even serve the importance to them? Or apart from, you know, people do, but do they even serve the importance to them? Are they still where the framers left it, or over time we've actually digressed and just had them there with or without competent leaders?
No, I remember in 2016 when former Prime Minister did contest for presidency, he actually he came up with a proposal that instead of multiplying districts, creating more districts, would come up with a sub-county model, the Gombolera model, so that really now with the sub-county is empowered to serve the people. But also that said, I just want us to look at this, Bwana Jagenda, that I just have a feeling that the emoluments of the sub-county structures, the chairperson LC3, the executives and the council should actually be increased. Now that they should be attractive, so that they can attract the best. Because now you find that at a sub-county, people who work there, the community development officers, you look at the agriculture extension workers, agricultural officers at the sub-county level are graduates. But now you have a chairperson, LOC3, most of them actually who are either P7 or secondary school dropouts. So I also think that, and that is largely because of the emoluments. So leadership is such a sensitive issue that if you don't make it interesting, it is not going to attract the best. So we'd want to see a person like Jagenda a call saying, look here, I'm going to contest as chairman LOC3. With that experience, maybe you can go and serve the people. And because at sub-county level, if you have somebody who is actually innovative, they can turn around the sub-county. But if you somebody surely who's a senior 4 graduate or a secondary school dropout, I mean, their thinking is always local, and therefore they may not help serve the people. But again, I also want us to appreciate that Uganda is one of the countries on the African continent that has an elaborate local government structure, because in some other countries it just comes to governor level, the state level or the gubernatorial level, and it ends there. But here you find that we have the LOC, we have the district level, we have the sub-county level, so implying that we do not have a vacuum, implying that we have a very, very robust way of how services can move from the top up to the grassroots. Maybe the only impediment in between that the local government ministry actually should look at seriously is corruption. But with that elaborate structure of local government, where we have the village, we have the sub-county, we have the district, I think we should be one of the best on the African continent, but this needs also to be seen in terms of service delivery.
Okay, well, here is where we go now. That's in Chengera. I think that's Chengera Town Council. Is it that's Matthias Warukaga? I'm trying to think. Maybe I think that's Matthias Warukaga for Chengera Town Council. There he goes. So if he doesn't turn around, then if he doesn't come positively the way he wants it, maybe indoors, he will actually say something different. But that's him there, as we can continue to see or even watch. But yet again, now coming, I'll come back to you there, because talking about Uganda being the best on the continent, and we are not getting the services as we ought to, or as we're supposed to get them. Ndugu Mututa, Akoli talks about emoluments and says if maybe the pay is increased right there, it will attract you them to the agendas of this world. But yet again, there's another issue that the money itself that we put into government and local government financing is also little money. Now, even when we increase the salaries, but the money that comes from the center or from the national budget to service delivery to local governments and doing all these things is not increased, then what will that mean? To just ensure that salaries come, but apart from the salaries, then services are not getting to the people.
Yeah, but even then, as we talk of increasing of the salaries, because then that will attract more credible leaders, will be quality in leadership. You're also looking at the number of divisions that are being produced every other year. Because where you had a Jagenda who would be a good leader, like last time we discussed, that in the past you could talk of a chairman of a district and you could count them. That in Mbarala we have this man, in Iganga we have this one, in Gulu we have this one, in Masaka. You can now not, because these divisions have affected. Where there was a village has now become a sub-county, where there was a sub-county has maybe become a district, or where there was a county has become a district. So there are too many units. Now when you do that, you dilute the quality, the type of leadership, the leaders that you attract, where you have, this discrepancy is all over this country, that you have certain areas which have not been lucky in terms of the leadership or education. The people who have, you go in a village or a sub-county and you can count a number of people, until recently of course, who have now gone to university and have a degree education. But when you divide these units, it means you're also dividing the quality of leadership, and then much as you may wish to increase on the emoluments, but also these units are getting less and less viable. So even there are some places where you think government is pushing any more money than they are getting from there. So it is just maybe a service like the chairman of Workso in the morning said, that you collect this money together, then you have to give to people who cannot even raise that small money. So I think if we are to have more of the quality of the type of leaders that we want, then something has to be done. Either we go back under decentralization and we lump together certain districts or lump together certain areas so that they can have an umbrella, and from the umbrella they can maybe think of having some good leaders, and these leaders can then be well remunerated, and then can maybe service delivery be done at that level. But the way things are going today, if you look at any place and then you find people are being divided down to sub-county, every sub-county, every village, then the issue of quality and even emolument becomes a problem, because how much are you going to pay? First of all, how much is the place going to, and you know, most of these local leaders are mainly being facilitated by how much they are collecting locally. So that becomes a problem.
On tax collections themselves are called, because we know we have districts. We're just talking to Honorable Aogon here of Kumi municipality. Unfortunately, he served at the district in several positions before coming to Parliament, and he attested to us and said the economic viability of Kumi is actually not there. Now there are so many Kumis in this Uganda. There are quite so many Kumis in this Uganda that they have a district now. They have an elected chairman, Jagenda, an elected chairman, Akol, and all the others. Politically, all the officers are actually occupied in there.
Yes.
But they even can't employ. They can't find anybody because the district doesn't have money. They can't employ people to do anything. They can't run that. Now you have a district, because when we need the health officer, the district health officer, for example, he is not going to come through an election that Byabakama is going to organize. But the district is not even in position to just do that. And even if we gave you so much money, even if we gave you an attractive salary that would bring the accords of this world, and we cannot get there, the economic viability of these districts, don't you think it's also a disservice to us that when government looks at them, yes, there are quite many, but not really serving the purpose?
Yeah, I think that is very true, because when you talk about Kumi is a district, first of all, that I understand so well, because even when it was the greater Kumi, where they had Ngora, it had Bukedi and Kumi, still its economic viability was wanting. And most of these districts actually depend on the central government. The economic viability, I think this is something that local government needs to sit down and look into, that these districts must also be empowered to come up with projects. They must be empowered, because there are some districts actually that do not have even a single resource within them. But perhaps the only resource they would have is human resource, if they would invest in the human resource. But now, if districts are not viable, then what of the sub-counties? It means that actually a lot really needs to be done. There was a time they talked of a district like Kalangala that could not even buy a Corona car, a small car for the chairperson, LOC5. Everything they had to look up to the central government.
Maybe they had a boat.
Yes, so maybe. But a boat is, I told it's more expensive than a Corona. So they can manage a Corona.
Maybe a canoe, not a boat. It's actually going to maybe a canoe.
Yes. So these are some of the. I think these are some of the things that we need to look at. And I believe at certain time, perhaps Ugandans will need to go back on the drawing board and rethink of our local government structures. Yes, because you need to have structures that are economically viable, not actually for purposes of pleasing people, just because Jagenda, Kola, and Mtuta are the big boys around, and they've come, have met before the president and say, look, we want a district, we want a sub-county, and say, okay, there you have it. So I think we really need to go back on the drawing board and then look at how viable are these structures that we are having. Are they serving people, or they are just duplicating services? Now, I just happened to the other time I was talking to one of a retired elder who was actually had most of his time in water development, called Mr. Patrick Kahanjiri. He said that when they are coming up with developing of water, the water system, the rural water systems, that they actually had to empower districts. But then before you're through with district A, it has been again it has been subdivided. So you find that actually became a very, very serious issue. So I think the best issue that ought to be done is that some districts or local government structures, they should not only they should not only be created on political grounds, but they should also look at other factors, that perhaps how is this going to be done? When it comes to electricity, how is it going to be done? When it comes to education, how is it going to be managed? When it comes to the health sector, how is it going to be managed? So that there is always that. Otherwise, you find that up to now, some districts are still depending on the mother districts where they were actually carved from in terms of maybe other services, that you find that they cannot have everything. Now, we also see that we have some sub-counties that are renting, they are renting their headquarters. You see also some districts find that they are also renting. So I think also we should have also a structure and an arrangement that when you're going to create a district, a sub-county, a municipality, a city, maybe let's look at its home. Where are the headquarters going to be? So that you know that yes, look here, this district has been created, but it already has a home. They are not going to rent. The other time, somebody came up with a survey and research showing that the government was losing a lot of money in renting. Yes, in renting offices. So and if that can be planned well, actually that money can be reinvested somewhere else in something that is very productive, that can help maybe other sectors tomorrow. So in a nutshell, the sub-counties we have can only add value onto us if they attract good leadership.
Okay. Yes. Well, I think that's very important, what you just talked about here. But Ariel, on this morning, you had the chairman for Akiso, and he also revealed something to us, which I want to draw to your attention. When you talk about YULGA, for example, the association that brings together all local government structures in this country, their headquarters are just on Entebbe Road here next to Millennium Chambers in Najja Nkumbi. You would think that they use this voice to do the bargains and do all the things, but you notice that local governments are left behind, I would say, because when you look at the budget framework, for example, for 2020-2021, it apportions or it appropriates some good amount of money to local government financing, but unfortunately, much of this, the greater chunk of this, which is over 80%, actually has to stay at the center again. Now, just a very minimum amount of that, or percentage of that, is what is going to go to these. Now, you will notice that even with this voice of YULGA, they still can't get their voices through. Yeah. One of the issues that they will cite, they will say, well, when you look at it, for example, in the outgoing government of local governments, we were just told has only 3 opposition leaders, or rather 3 opposition chairpersons, only 3 opposition chairpersons. Now, the majority of these are NRM and independents. And we normally tend to say, and we normally tend to pride in these numbers, especially when it comes to this multi-party democracy that we're exercising, that you voted for the NRM manifesto of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, chairman of NRM, and you would imagine that if you voted for NRM members of parliament and NRM chairpersons across the board, then you definitely have services. But now we are seeing this, which is actually ending, where you've had 98 to 99% of NRM. But yet again, the services are still missing or lacking or wanting on that. How do we explain all the things, and how do we even convince people that if it's the NRM government and you have NRM chairpersons, you have NRM councillors, then you get services, because we've seen them there and the services are not even there. So how do we harmonize these positions of implementing the manifesto of the ruling government?
No, I feel that this particular election we've had, where we've seen NUP actually voting whoever has the umbrella, where people in some areas they voted whoever has the umbrella, and already people are saying yes, the quality is wanting. I think this should take all parties back to the drawing board, that especially NRM, that now they should revise the manner, they should revise how they've been conducting primaries, because there are some people who actually were frustrated in NRM and decided to go to NUP, and now they've been elected. There are some people we also see that perhaps because they did not have funds, they shied away from the NRM primaries. So it's because that with the fact that we made politics very, very expensive, it is not giving us the best. We are getting businessmen. We're getting people actually who want returns on their investment. I've invested in an election, therefore once elected I should get returns on my investment. So I think all parties and all political players, if they are to serve the country, they need to go back on the drawing board to come up with a very good system on how they're going to choose.
But is it important even in any way? Is it important to have so many NRM? Is it important to have so many, possibly this party or that party? Is it really important? Because if the structures, I'm looking at the law itself and how much comes into local governments. does anybody really care whether it's only NRM or it is NRM mixed with the opposition and all the things? But because we've seen government structures, we've seen local government structures where you have the president of NRM, the chairman of NRM at the helm, and then you have the chairperson who is NRM, you have the council which is NRM, but there are no services. Does that matter?
I think there's what people need to understand, especially leaders at all levels, is that once elected, whether you are NOP, whether you are DP, whether you are FDC,
there is a manifesto.
Yes. First of all, you have to appreciate that you have come in this leadership, but you are going to serve that manifesto, because all the programs of government are going to be lined on that manifesto, and that's not going to be your manifesto if you are in opposition. Now, again, what people need to appreciate is that once you become a leader, the issue of a political party, to a greater extent, doesn't help you that way. Whether you are a movement, because the center is not going to say, because we have a chairman movement in that particular district, we are going to give them more money. Or that we have an opposition leader in that position, we are not going to give them more money. True that there could be other things that you may benefit, or your district may benefit outside the government arrangement as a political organization. The party can say, as a matter of fact, let's support our person in that particular area with ABCD, something like that. But government programs are the same. That is why you now expect that people who are coming from opposition and have been elected as chairpersons of districts, you would see them signing agreements with the movement that we are going to serve, and we are going to serve government programs, because it is the government you are going to serve. You are not going to serve the movement, you are not going to serve, but it's the government that is in power, upon which programs that you as the district and district council are going to, and you are not going to stand in the way and say, no, for me, because I'm opposition, I'm not going to allow this to happen. Or the government is not going to say, because you're opposition, you are not going to access government programs. All the funding is coming from government, whether you like it or not. And the government knows that you have an opposition leader in that particular area, whether they like it or not. So at the end of it, it is the people who are serving. We are not serving the interests of the political parties. The political party may have an interest in the manifesto, but that is all. It's not going to coerce you into doing something that you are not able to do. But like the chairman was saying today, you realize that sometimes, it happens that when you talk about Olga, sometimes for people who may be members of the movement are likely to be shy, pushing certain decisions that they may think would look too left, not look too hardliner. That a person will say, because it is my government, I don't need to push so much on this. And whereas maybe if a person came from opposition in that particular case would have pushed something beyond that, maybe that can happen. But then it comes down that when you go to the numbers, when you go to Olga elections, then because the movement has numbers, they will be able to elect a person who they think is going to be a movement. And the irony here, you know, again reflecting on the elections that we have had in maybe 2 days ago of the youth, it has been a common, not common, it has been a feeling, a thinking that the youth in this country don't like the movement. But you realize that that's not even true, because all the regions have been taken by the movement in the youth elections.
All the regions?
All the regions, Eastern, Western, Northern, so all have been taken by the by movement. So which youth are we talking about then? Maybe our figures don't serve us rightly. So what I'm saying is that it is not possible to stand on the edge, whether you are government or opposition, when it comes to the issues of development. We have to go by the flow.
Well, gentlemen, finally, we have about 2 or 3 minutes here to get to Parliament again. We need to let the people also have a feel of what's happening in Parliament. I'll call finally from you. looking at the structures themselves, you answer this in just 2 minutes, where you have the cow, you have the RDC, you have the DISO, you have so many of these. Now, they're all monitoring this particular district. And you have one chairman. You have 4, 5, 6, Wakiso, for example, has 9 members of parliament, 1 chairman. You have another RDC and a deputy RDC, 1 chairman. You have a cow and 1 chairman. Don't you think it's just too much for the structures? And we spend a lot of money in financing and you know, duplicating all this, facilitating all this.
Well, one would imagine that since there are many, actually now work would be done, but unfortunately it's not. It's
the other way around.
It's the other way around. But I would also think that there's a lot of duplication of work. It's because you find that I believe, especially when it comes to RDCs, I think there are some really districts, so you just need like one RDC monitoring the 2 districts. And then also the other issue is in terms of empowerment, because in some areas actually RDCs depend on cows. So how are they going to effectively monitor whether they're implementing government programs?
Well, thank you very much. Just like we have ambassadors, we have heads of commissions that run, for example, I headed our mission in I think German runs another about 9 countries in Europe. So we have one mission, but you know, it runs other 9 missions in the region. So as opposed to having an ambassador and an ambassador and an ambassador and an ambassador, you have 2.
The economic
exactly. You have 2 who sit here, but they are running, of course, all this. Finally, from you, Twitter, before we get to Parliament, in 1 minute.
I think, like we have said, these leaders are being elected, but these leaders are not necessarily to serve the interest of their political parties, but what people want. Now that's a problem, because sometimes people, those in the political parties will think you are now joining government, mostly when you are coming from the opposition, or those in government will think now this one is coming, and because I've also seen people in the movement who believe that when other people join them, they seem to be more facilitated than those who are there. The cadres will think now they are facilitated because this man is going to has a vehicle, has something, has fuel, has running around. Then the people in the political system, in the party, are saying, but this was supposed to be our thing. Nonetheless, when we elect leaders, we seed, we give, whether you, like today, whether you are 1 or 2 they have elected, you have given them the mandate to work on your behalf.
For the next 5 years.
Let's charge them by the deliverance, what the deliverables at the end of the day, not because they belong to a particular political party or a particular religion, or they are short or tall, but what they are going to be able to deliver. And also those who are elected, because you can have a council, like, and we are seeing this, where a chairman is a movement, but the councillors are opposition from different political parties, or vice versa. Now, those differences cease. We now begin to focus on the development that the people expect us to deliver, not necessarily. Political parties, after 5 years, will come back.
Okay.
For now, deliverance.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. James Mututa and Akola Mazima. We only have 1 hour to end the voting today. So you've got 1 hour. If you haven't done the voting yet, please find time, move out of the office now, move out of your shop or market to go, and make sure that you catch it before 4 o'clock. Because at 4 o'clock exactly, the voting will close, then the tallying will start. Meaning that by 7, 8, 9, 10, before midnight or thereabouts, we'll be able to actually know who is the newly elected chairperson of this particular sub-county, and that's what it is. We thank you so much. We now take you to Parliament. My name is Jaganda Semakola Ziksoka. Keep it to UBC TV.
in implementing or rolling out this project in West Nile, because in some to follow up with the contractor and the ministry on the progress that was being made, because this project is long overdue, but the contractual period being 18 months, we are told by 2020 this project should be up and running and ready for commissioning. But there's no sign of any activity in the West Nile region apart from the president coming to do the groundbreaking, of which the substation is in my constituency. It will be good for the minister to come clear on the progress so far made by the contractor and the Ministry of Energy on how far this project has gone. I thank you.
Honorable Sebagala, Wamai Amede.
Thank you very much.
Madam Speaker, Bugisu has suffered a lot because people were stealing power, they could not afford it. And electricity killed so many people. Now, when government came out that they are going to help the people, and they asked the people to wire their houses, that if their houses were wired, they are going to help Ugandans to connect power. And this has been stopped. Now, even if one is a rich person, connection is 720,000 per pole. This is very high cost. Now Ugandans are suffering in their own country. Electricity in Tanzania is much cheaper, it comes from here. From Kenya is much cheaper, it comes from here. From Rwanda is much cheaper, it comes from here. Then Ugandans keep wondering why. So Madam Minister, I want you to consider the ordinary person in the countryside. Using candles, kerosene is dangerous. Cutting down trees is affecting the environment. And our people are dying because they go up the mountains to cut down trees. Now, if they're subsidized, then our people would live good life. So, Madam Minister, I want you to go back to Cabinet and speed up this loan so that you go back and connect the people, so that Ugandans don't pay the 720,000 to have them connected to power. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
No, Ahmed, then Honorable Caroline Kamsime, then Kefa, then the Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity, and I congratulate you for winning your seat, and all colleagues, I congratulate you all. I would like to draw the Minister's attention to the line of getting a World Bank loan to enhance the electricity policy. I'm requesting that the Minister, you try to pay critical attention and re-examine what the technocrats give you. What is this electricity policy intended to achieve vis-a-vis inclusive development? Since I grew up, there has always been electricity in my village. But it's just last year that I just did occur to me, why is it that nobody else connected that electricity? The electricity in Kawanga's Teachers Training College. Electricity will run around when other people cannot afford it. What is this policy vis-a-vis enhancing the solar energy that may be more affordable to other people? Taking you back to the REA program of rural electrification, there have been gaps where electricity has run to people's homes, rich people's homes, and bypassed health centers and schools. can this policy be inclusive in a manner that all institutions that benefit, that cut across, are able to benefit? Electricity will pass through a place and the local government cannot afford to pay the bills. What is this policy vis-a-vis the use of gas? Many people can't afford to use electricity for cooking. And in the villages, the environment has been degraded. What is the gas? What is your ministry doing about the gas policy to enable people afford gas for cooking? I implore you to look at those issues critically to promote inclusive development. If people in Bukedi can
Honorable Kamsime, then Honorable Kefa, then the Minister.
For the opportunity. Allow me to thank the Minister for the statement. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister talked about the delays. Thank God you know it. You talked about, gave an excuse of COVID, but Madam Minister, I would like to inform you that even before COVID, we've been having such challenges. I think one thing we are lacking in our ministry is to dig down, go in our districts and find out why are such delays being caused. For example, I can tell you, in my district, I've got a sub-county where we've been having poles lying for the last 3 years. That was before COVID, immediately when I had entered Parliament. Up to now, poles are there, and you know, doing all that, they cut people's trees, banana plantations, when people are expecting services, but out of it, we don't get anything. There is another sub-county in Kashambia. We've got wires for the last 2 years, no power there. So, Madam Minister, I'm requesting you, if you can pick interest in Ruchiga and find out. Yesterday, the Honorable Minister talked about the untouchables. I picked interest and tried to call the contractor. I said, why did you lay everything down and move to another district? That he was ordered. Up to now, Madam Minister, poles are lying there, wires pass through people's houses, there are no electricity. So I'm kindly requesting, if you can pick interest, go to Ruchiga and find out why such things are happening. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Okay, do you want to go?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Now, I'm sorry to mention, but the Minister has not been entirely honest with this August House, and I'm sorry to say this. And I think with the presentation, the impression being given is that it's just a problem of money. But it's not entirely a problem of money. And I'm sure the Minister knows this. I think very, very unfortunately, there are very serious governance issues at REA. And it's because of these governance problems that we are where we are now. The Parliament appropriated the money, the 42 billion, which they should have spent in the second quarter, yes, which they should have spent in October. It was released in October. And these payments should have been made in October. The only reason why they couldn't make them is because they cannot enter into implementation agreements with the providers. And now what the Minister is telling us is that they are proceeding to make payments, as was highlighting. When they came to us in the committee during the budget framework paper process, we noted serious concerns around the governance instrument that should be in place, the statutory instrument that should be setting up there. I think the minister is under obligation to brief Parliament on what is happening on that. She had come up with a new statutory instrument revoking an earlier statutory instrument which was set up in 2001, but that was quashed by court.
Now, Honourable Member, you know, she came to respond to a question raised by Honourable Kibaria about the dramatic end to the free connections policy. I think the issue of governance should be addressed separately. She came to answer something different.
Okay, all right, then let me just put it then. Other than the question of money, there are serious governance issues which are seriously impacting on the implementation and performance of the programs in REA. And this money, which she said is going to be spent, at the moment it cannot be spent because there are no implementation agreements. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Sir, response? Minister of Energy, any final comments?
Thank you very much. I think I will endeavor to answer some of the questions. Now, there was an issue of accessing power, Umeme not having the meters. This issue, I've already communicated to Umeme to expedite the process so that people who paid, they have got complaints, people who paid as far as October have not been connected, but they are working around the clock to see that connections continue without disruption. Now, there was also another concern about Umeme, especially those sometimes information does not flow to the community about what has been decided on the policy. I've also received these complaints and we have communicated to Umeme that they should be able to go on radio and explain clearly what we have directed them to do. And Right Honourable Speaker, we shall be able to follow up this and ensure that the connections, for those who have paid, they should be able to be connected. Now, West Nile, not accessing the national grid, yes, it's true, we signed a contract, and I've been reliably informed that the contractor is now carrying out geotechnical surveys, testing the soils before they begin construction of the line. And I've been assured that the line will be delivered on schedule. But otherwise, we apologize for the people of West Nile. And you also asked about the Umeme contract. Yes, these negotiations are going on at the highest level of His Excellency, and you will be informed once we have struck a deal. But just, Right Honourable Speaker, to inform the House, I took trouble to find out from my colleague then, who was the Minister of Energy, at the time when Umeme came in. Now, at the time when Umeme came in, we are told that the economy of the country was not so attractive like it is, and the minister then, actually the Minister of Finance, attempted to borrow a loan to get financing from some of the banks who are now here, but it was turned down because the sector then was referred to that was not bankable. So nobody could do into the energy sector, and that's why they had to go to get other contracts, and Umeme was contracted through international bidding. They were the lowest bidders then. But as it is now, the conditions which we were in when Umeme came in are now different. And believe me, we have options now. As government, we can be able to negotiate for a better deal or even take over the activities of Umeme ourselves. One member raised issues about urban electricity. Right Honourable Speaker, every Ugandan has a right to access electricity, and this is one of the United Nations principles, that access to energy is a human right. So every Ugandan is right actually to demand for electricity. But sometimes it has been the affordability, some of the competing demands, we cannot access everybody at a go. So we believe that if we do it gradually, we should be able to cover everybody. And Right Honourable Speaker, also to inform you, in Cabinet, the sector, electricity is one of the priorities now, and we are prioritizing transmission and distribution. So I need your support as Parliament that these sectors are prioritized and we make Ugandans access electricity. The high cost of power, I've tried to assess and also get from experts. They say because of low people accessing the grid, you know, the demand is low. So once you have a low demand, the tariff usually is higher. But once we increase the demand, we are likely, especially once we have these industrial parks, which about 28 coming, we should be able to lower the cost of power. But otherwise, as government, we are also concerned that it also affects the manufacturing industries, and we are very much aware and trying to work around the clock to see that power is affordable by everybody. Now there is the talk of the World Bank loan, and saying that we need to look at, by the way, solar energy is not one of the cheapest. I think hydro is one of the cheapest, because now like the power in Naruwale is the cheapest, just at 2 cents. So we normally look at those mixes, but we cannot rule out that saying we only go hydro, because we have had cases where the dams have failed. So you need to have an alternative for the security of power supply. But we are working on that. Now the gas policy. Yes, Right Honourable Speaker, you know I was formerly the Minister of Environment, Minister of State for Environment, and I have to inform the House that we are working on this very steadily as a ministry to see that we promote the use of gas, especially in cooking, in order to save the trees. So this, I will also need your support when this policy comes to Parliament. Otherwise, we are running, I think we are working through our company, UNOC, to see that we are able to sell and make gas cheaper for Ugandans to use. Now, the concern of some of the poles lying in some of the districts, these have also raised it under REA, and we are going to make this, but this normally occurs at the time when we normally have elections. There is a tendency of people using those polls, of course, to better campaigns, but sometimes they forget those polls there. So this, I've just had a meeting this morning with the management of REA, and we are going to make sure that we improve on this. Now for my chairperson, governance problems at REA, I have to inform the House that REA is moving on, and we have an accounting officer. I've just met the top management this morning to take charge of the institution. So the institution is serving the nation. As of the fears being raised by chairman, I'm not aware of them, because no contractor has complained that what? The issues which are in REA, the executive, the cabinet is handling that. And once cabinet decides, I will be able to implement. So REA was created by the minister to oversee the fund, and where we have certain issues to adjust, I think the executive has a right to make those adjustments, and we shall be able to have the institution move on. But otherwise, my plea is that my chairman need to be supportive of what we are doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honourable members,
a simple clarification I want from the Honourable Minister. Right Honourable Speaker, I was a member of National Economy, and we borrowed money, Right Honourable Speaker, which you passed. The Honourable Minister was here talking about another loan, but we got even a loan to supply power to 32 sub-counties. Right Honourable Speaker, we have no update. You remember last time we came here and we demanded over the same before even her coming to that ministry, but we don't know really. Now it is going to 3 years. Plans came out, even we had meetings with the engineers. Some engineers were transferred. Now Ugandans don't know exactly, because now coming up with a proposal of another new loan, when even the one we got almost coming to 3 years has no clear explanation. Right Honourable Speaker, that's what I think the Minister can also clarify, I think.
Yes, Honourable Mai.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wanted to find out from the Minister. The Minister says electricity is expensive because the demand is not much. I wanted to disagree that if the demand is not much, why is the government then putting in money to build more dams, produce more electricity? And I want to tell you that people cannot afford electricity. That's why they are not going in for it. If government had lowered the cost of electricity, then everybody should have been connected. And this should have been the case, because I mentioned earlier that we have got the provisions of producing electricity. And you rightly put it that hydroelectricity is much cheaper. And we have got water, as I said earlier. And therefore electricity should have been the cheapest. And if it was cheap, then many of our people should have been connected. And they won't be living in darkness. And they won't be going in for trees. But because power is very expensive, that's why they cannot afford to get electricity. And that's why so many of our people died because of stealing, to get connected wrongly. So it's because of the cost. The cost is so high. Now, UAB belongs to Uganda. Umeme does not belong to Uganda. You know, and these people came to make money. Definitely any company that comes to invest in this country, their interest is to make money. And they retrieve the interest, the money made, and it's taken out of this country. It doesn't benefit Ugandans. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
So, Honourable members, if you could get us the comparative figures, the cost of power in Kenya and in Rwanda, and the cost of power here, maybe we can have a more focused discussion so that we can make a decision. Thank you. Oh, you people.
Okay, on the issue that Honourable Muyanja was talking about, Madam Speaker, I recall we presented a report here in November regarding the project that Honourable Muyanja is talking about, and you had guided that the Minister will be coming. The Minister is not here. You had guided that she will be coming and to make a response to that report, but we haven't had that response. And unfortunately, recently, we noted that actually the delay has even increased now by 1 year, which is again a serious issue of concern. Can I also clarify that all my comments, the Minister seemed to have suggested that I'm not supporting the sector. All my comments are geared towards making the sector more effective, and that's what I'm struggling with. Thank you very much, Madam.
So the issue of the Minister's reply, we shall put it back on the order paper, and she'll come and respond to that particular area. Now, honour members, I have information about the death of one of former colleagues, the Honourable Chaiga Andrew Borodi, was member of the National Resistance Council and also CA delegate between June 1989 and May 1996. The date for his burial will be announced, but He was from Moyo. I don't remember the constituency, but was from Moyo. So, Obongi, okay. Can I ask members to stand up for a minute of silence? May his soul rest in eternal peace. Amen. Item 4. Item number 4 on the other paper. Laying of papers. Can I ask Commissioner Bahati to help us lay the papers?
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the following reports in accordance with Rule 31 of the Rules of Procedure. The reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2014 of Lobalinget Sub-County, Kabongo District, Chigorobia Sub-County, Hoima District, Aliba Sub-County, Moyo District, Bumasache Sub-County, Mbale District, Bohaika Sub-County, Hoima District, Kabongo East Sub-County, Kabongo District, Abim Sub-County, Abim District, Tuba Sub-County, Soroti District, Kalambi Sub-County, Kabalore District, Kamuda Sub-County, Soroti District, Abok Sub-County, Oyam District, Buwalas Sub-County, Silonko District, Zesiri Sub-County, Silonko District, Moyo Sub-County, Moyo District, Busoro Sub-County, Kabalore District, Buhes Sub-County, Kabalore District, Gwim Sub-County, Kabalore District, Drajin Sub-County, Yumbe District, Omia Pachwa Sub-County, Agago District, Palisa Sub-County, Palisa District, Aduk Sub-County, Apache District, Cherekulu Sub-County, Palisa District, Kasodo Sub-County, Palisa District, Lopi Sub-County, Napak District, Unyama Sub-County, Guru District, Loro Sub-County, Oyam District, Buhimba Sub-County, Hoima District, Matanyi Sub-County, Napak District, and Chitoba Sub-County, Hoima District. I beg to lay.
My members, all those items are sent to the Public Accounts Committee, Local Government for perusal and report back. Next item. Item 42. On the sub-counties?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, Aliba is now in Obongi District, not Moyo District. Obongi District. Thank you.
Okay, the clerk will check that, Madam Speaker.
Thank you for information. Too many changes have taken place, so clerk should keep abreast of what is happening. Items 42.
Do you have it?
Item 42.
Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, I beg to lay request by government to borrow up to units of accounts 23 million equivalent 31.64 million US dollars from the African Development Fund to finance the revenue shortfalls of the budget.
Members sent to the Committee of National Economy for perusal and report back.
Item number 5 on the order paper. Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Environment and Natural Resources on the petition by landlords, Bibanja owners, artisanal miners, gold traders, and other service providers in the mining camps of Mende district over unlawful evictions.
Members, you may recall that we had 2 reports on similar issues. The report from Boheju from the same committee and the report from Mobende on similar issues. We have debated them both. I put the question first that this House would adopt the report of the committee on the issues of Boheju. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I then put the question that this House would adopt the report of the committee on environment on the issues of Mubende district. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Please have it.
Item number 6, motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Environment and Natural Resources on the flooding of Nakapiripirit and Bukedea districts resulting from up-mining of limestone.
Honorable, I'm happy the Minister of Internal Affairs is here. We await a report from you on the issues of flooding. In October, you undertook to go and look at the areas that have flooded and give us a report. I hope you bring it sometime soon. Yes, Minister.
Madam Speaker, I didn't hear the question clearly.
Yeah, Honour Minister, in October, members raised here the issue of flooding from the areas of Fontoroko along the Albert Nile up to Pakwach, and you undertook on the floor of this House that you are proceeding there to examine the situation and bring a report to this House.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I will need to check and pick on that. But I do recollect that I did make that undertaking,
yes,
and I will be able to report.
Okay.
Right now I don't have it with me.
Okay, that's because yesterday new issues were being raised and we thought we should hear the old ones first before.
I'll do that, Madam Speaker.
Okay.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I'm getting surprised that the issue of flood is going to be reported on by the Minister for Internal Affairs. The most closely related to that would be Ministry for Disaster or Ministry of Water and Environment. Thank you.
We are not just instructing him. He came here and undertook to go and establish what is happening. It's on the Hansard. Item 6. Item 6.
Madam Speaker, actually, I thought we've already adopted the reports, and thanks very much for that. But yes, on a procedure, I thought the Minister of Internal Affairs was also here to make clarification on the matter of the Mino Police Protection Unit, which you ruled that, and I thought that actually it was to be before we adopt the report. But he's here now.
Well, I don't know whether he has been updated about what we discussed yesterday. I think we had indicated, I think the clerk should remind the Minister of Internal Affairs of the issues that are outstanding, including that of the mineral mining unit, the police mining unit. We need an answer from you
about what it is, the clerk will be writing to you so that you answer. Did we finish the Bukedea, Honorable Chiwanuka? Did we finish with the Nakapiripiri and Bukedea? On the mining of limestone?
That report is ready, Madam, but I request that we present it tomorrow.
Okay. Item 7.
Item number 7, Bill second reading, the Constitution Amendment Bill 2019.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, this bill was read for the second time, but since that time, I think this will be the fourth time it's coming up. The chairperson of the committee has not appeared to read the report, so I beg your indulgence that you allow any available member of the committee to read the report so that the members can start debating the same.
Do we have the Vice Chair of the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee here? They're not here. Is there a member of the committee here? Can the clerk undertake to look for the chair or the vice chair so that tomorrow they come and present the report? So the matter will be reflected again on tomorrow's order paper. Clerk, please find the chair or the vice chair of the Committee of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. Let's go to item 8.
Item number 8, Bill second reading, the Accreditation for Conformity Assessment Bill 2018.
Minister of Trade.
Hello? Yes, thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament, Honourable colleagues, the first reading of the Accreditation for Conformity Assessment Bill was on 22nd August 2019 and accordingly referred to the Tourism, Trade and Industry Committee for review. I take this opportunity to reintroduce the bill to the House for the second and third reading and thereafter enactment into law. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to proceed. I'll begin with a definition of some of the terms briefly. For example, accreditation is the process of providing recognition to a conformity assessment body for its competence in performing a specific conformity assessment service. Conformity assessment refers to a process and procedures that are used to demonstrate that a product or a service meets specified requirements. It aims to demonstrate compliance with specified requirements for competence, independence, and impartiality of conformity assessment bodies. The conformity assessment services are offered by key institutions in the national quality infrastructure. Standards and conformity assessment requirements stipulate what can or cannot be exchanged and define the procedures that must be followed. The potential of standards and conformity assessment procedures to distort trade is mostly related to duplicative or other unnecessary trade costs.
Now, Honourable Minister,
yes,
you're supposed to justify why you're bringing a law
yes, right
to govern that area.
then the report will be given, and then we shall discuss that. Why are you bringing this law? That's what.
Okay, thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Let me go right to justification. Well, the reason why I'm bringing this law is to highlight the benefits of accreditation services for our economy. Internationally, there is only a standard for establishment and operation of accreditation services. So what this is going to do, once we have this law, it will simplify international trade through harmonization of procedures. It will enhance quality to safety and effective service delivery. It will increase confidence in public service system. It will demonstrate due diligence in an event of legal action. And these services will reduce the cost of doing business through elimination of retesting and reinspection. The services will minimize risks of consumption and will protect health and safety. And it will also reduce on the costs that we currently encounter by hiring services from Kenya and South Africa. So I would like to state that these global, but at the moment, Uganda is currently undertaking investment, a lot of investment in infrastructure, in areas of roads, energy, and ICT. And most of the service providers are from foreign countries who would require this regulatory framework to support their investments. And it is important to note that no country has achieved a middle income status without a robust national quality infrastructure and accreditation. So that is why, Right Honourable Speaker, I beg that we consider this bill because it will build confidence in our economy, strengthen trade, and to reduce the cost of doing business in the private sector. It will also increase private sector participation in provision of quality conformity services, which are currently offered by Government of Uganda. So I therefore, Right Honourable Speaker, appeal to my colleagues to support the bill and allow me to lay on table the accreditation for conformity assessment bill of the second and third reading.
Thank you.
Second.
Honourable.
I've combined.
What is our chair? Chair, Committee on Trade.
Yes, Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled Accreditation of Conformity Assessment Bill be read for the second time. 2018 be read for the second time.
Do we have the chair of the Committee on Trade? No. The vice chair? They are not here. Can the clerk again undertake to locate the chair, the vice chair of the Committee on Trade, so that tomorrow we're able to handle the second reading? Let's go to the next item.
Okay. Item number 9.
Thank you.
Right. Bill second reading, the National Curriculum Development Center Amendment Bill 2020.
Minister of Education.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, it's true I last interacted with you last year, and I want to be allowed to use this opportunity, first of all, to congratulate you for having survived 2020, and to wish you the best of 2021. May I also grab this opportunity, Right Honourable Speaker, to congratulate you and my dear colleagues who have made it to the 11th Parliament. Congratulations. You know what happened in Vamunanika. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the National Curriculum Development Centre Amendment Bill 2020 be read for the second time. I beg to move.
Is the motion seconded? Seconded. Seconded.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, this bill has the following objectives. First of all, amendment of the National Curriculum Development Centre Act in relation to the establishment, constitution, and the functions of the National Curriculum Development Centre. 2, broadening the representation of the education sector in curriculum development by including the new stakeholders to the governing council of the centre. 3, removal from membership of the governing council for the institutions and the titles that are no longer in existence. 5, removal of limitations on eligibility for appointment of the chairperson of the council. And finally, harmonization of the financial year of the centre to the financial year of government. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
We have the report of the committee. Committee on Education. Did the entire Honourable Pollitt here? Yes, the committee report.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and honourable members. Madam Speaker, you called when I was still sorting out a few things with me. But, Madam Speaker, the National Curriculum Development Centre Amendment Bill 2020 was tabled for first reading on 24th June 2020 by the Minister of State for Education, Charge of Higher Education, Honorable Muyingo, and was referred to the Committee on Education and Sports in accordance with Rule 128 of the Rules of Procedure of this House. Madam Speaker, before I proceed any further, allow me lay on table the minutes, correspondences, and all those documentations to do with the process of handling this bill. Please allow me lay. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, from the bill, the object, I want to believe that this document is uploaded
into our system, and we can refer to it. But the object of the bill is fivefold. One, or A, to amend the NCDC Act in relation to establishment, constitution, and functions of the NCDC. B, to broaden representation of the education sector in the curriculum development by including new stakeholders to the governing council of the center. C, to remove from the membership of the governing council the institutions that are no longer in existence. D, to remove the limitations on eligibility for appointment of the chairperson of the council. And E, to harmonize the financial year of the center to the financial year of government. Madam Speaker, 3.0 is the methodology. And briefly, we held meetings and received memoranda from the stakeholders listed therein. We also called for submissions of memoranda on the National Curriculum Development Center Amendment Bill 2020 through a public notice that was placed in the New Vision and Daily Monitor of Monday, 24th August 2020. And we scrutinized the written memoranda from the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, who responded to the public notice that was placed in the newspapers. Madam Speaker, 4.0 is on stakeholders and their views as far as the amendment of the NCDC Act is concerned. And if you can allow, I would leave that to members and the House to look through, and then permit me proceed. But maybe just to run through, we had a presentation from the Ministry of Education and Sports, National Curriculum Development Center itself, Uganda National Examination Board, Federation of Uganda Employers, Uganda Business and Technical Education Board, UBTEB, National Council for Higher Education, the Vice Chancellor's Forum, the Association of Uganda Secondary Schools Head Teachers, Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, as the stakeholders. Of course, there were those who made proposals outside. I don't want to go on that. And then we also had Education Accelerators Limited. These are a group of people providing international education. And Madam Speaker, I want to go to the observations and recommendations, that is 5.0. The committee observed that the proposed new function under clause 2B(JB) suggests originality, expertise, and indisputable process flows in curricular design with the NCDC involvement only limited to vetting and approval. And yet such curricula requires thorough scrutiny to ascertain their relevance in education skills development and the values required for an effective and efficient human resource in Uganda. B, whereas NCDC may not have the mandate to assess alternative curricula to ascertain whether or not they match national education system requirements, it could still, as a government agency, provide guidance on how to regulate operations of international schools. The committee believes that NCDC has powers to influence Ministry of Education and Sports to vet and approve implementation of international curricula before the ministry can license such operations in the country. committee recommends that NCDC should vet all alternative curricula and issue certificates of approval before the Ministry of Education and Sports can license such schools that use alternative curricula. Next is that NCDC has not been at the, that's an observation, next observation. NCDC has not been at the hem and epitome of executing its responsibilities as enshrined in Section 3 of the NCDC Act, especially in relation to alternative curricula and curricula developed by post-secondary education institutions without due diligence and consultations made with NCDC. The committee was informed by NCDC that universities were considered to have the highest concentration of knowledge and skills required to develop and teach their own curricula. The committee notes that NCDC has relegated part of its responsibilities to educational institutions to develop curricula that suit their own needs. And the committee therefore recommends that all other education institutions offering diploma and certificate courses, except universities, should develop their curricula in consultation with and approval by National Curriculum Development Center. However, all curricula for diploma and certificate courses should be developed in consultation and approval with NCDC. D, whereas government liberalized the education sector, the bill under clause 3 presents limitations on representation on the NCDC Council in a sense that it does not make express provision for private sector involvement as a key stakeholder in the delivery of quality education services in the country. And the committee recommends, number 1, that the composition of the governing council of the center should be mindful of the different key stakeholders in the curriculum development. Number 2, the committee further recommends that interests of non-state education actors should be represented on the center's governing council. Next observation. The committee observed that there is existence of role conflicts between National Curriculum Development Center and the National Council for Higher Education in as far as curriculum development for certificate and diploma courses is concerned. The committee further observes that Section 5(1) of the Universities and Other Tertiary Institutions Act 2001 mandates National Council for Higher Education to ensure minimum standards for courses of study and equating of degrees, diplomas, and certificates awarded by the different public and private institutions of higher education, while Section 3(1) of the NCDC Act, Cap 135, mandates NCDC to investigate and evaluate the need for syllabus revision and curriculum reform at primary, secondary, and tertiary levels of education. Recommendations. Number 1, the committee recommends that National Curriculum Development Center should be the lead government agency in the curriculum development and review, and all activities related to curriculum development should be done in consultation with the National Curriculum Development Center. Recommendation 2, the committee further recommends that the Minister of Education and Sports should table a bill seeking to amend the Universities and Other Tertiary Institutions Act 2001 with the primary object of prescribing that universities should only develop curricula for undergraduate and postgraduate courses of study. This would resolve the current impasse between NCDC and NICHE in the curriculum development for certificates and diploma courses, and would also strengthen NCDC mandate to develop curricula for tertiary levels of education. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, the committee proposes that the National Curriculum Development Center Amendment Bill 2020 be passed into law subject to proposed amendments. I beg to report.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and the members on the Committee of Education and Sports for your work. The members, the report has been signed by the necessary minimum numbers. You are free to make comments on the bill. Where do we start? Honorable Organ, then Honorable Atiku, Honorable Abala. 3 minutes, please.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Allow me first to applaud the committee and the chair for the good work done. To me, this bill is this amendment is small. You don't need to take a lot of time in it. It is nearly so clear. What we have here is necessary, and I agree with the committee recommendations. First of all, NCDC, in this case, stands as a regulator. It will be weird for us to have an institution or a sector in government without a parent. So it is only proper that they act as the lead agency in the business of creating curricula. Madam Speaker, it is also proper that the institutions consult with them. So I want to agree with the committee. I'd like to move. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Atiku.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, the committee chairperson and the minister for bringing forth this amendment. Madam Speaker, my point of view is hinged on the object of the bill, A, that is to amend the National Curriculum Development Center Act in relation to the establishment, constitution, and functions of the National Curriculum Development Center. Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, if we look at our current education system and the output, you will be sure that all the challenges that we're facing in as far as the rampant unemployment is concerned is because of this particular object, for which we must render all the support and not stop only at the amendment, but also go into the full implementation once it is made a law. Madam Speaker, some time back in this August House, I raised a question in regard to whether we have a manpower plan as a country that informs the subjects that are taught right from primary up to university and other tertiary institutions. But that question has never been answered, and when I saw this report, I saw that answer here. Because the National Curriculum Development Center should be able to give the education institutions in the country, first of all, a picture of where we need correction. We have so many products of the various universities, both government and private, who are unemployable. Yes, they have acquired degrees, they have acquired diplomas, they have acquired certificates, but they cannot be employed anywhere. Neither can they create jobs of their own. And therefore, it's important, Honorable Minister, that once this bill is passed, let us come out clear with a manpower plan for this country, so that the public out there does not spend money on courses that do not have market, on courses that will not make the graduates job creators, and that will inform the kind of investment the government will have to make. We shouldn't be investing in universities, we should be investing in vocational institutions, people who should be able to produce furniture.
Okay, yes, 1 minute more.
Thank you. We should be able to invest in courses that will create job creators who will in turn be able to make production that can enhance the economy of this country. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I support this bill, and I want to congratulate the committee for fast-tracking this amendment and appeal to the minister that once this bill is passed, let us go further in enhancing it to come up with a manpower plan that will guide this country in as far as making our education system productive. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Abala.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the ministry specifically for bringing up this bill. Because if they are not thought of bringing it, it would have been a problem and would have remained in darkness. For me, I compare this bill like a torch when all of us, when you are living in a dark environment. Now this amendment is actually showing us that that's where we are supposed to pass. Now because we are supposed to pass there, there's nothing that shows us where to pass. And today, this bill is showing us exactly the direction we should take as a country. That's number one. Number two, Madam Speaker, I also want to thank the committee for the job well done, because they have been very specific and summarized and organized in a manner that it's difficult even to question what has been presented. That's why I want to thank them. My only comment are two. Number one is that curriculum development is very central in the provision of quality education in any given environment or country. Now, by mere fact that there have been problems in the board, and now this law is going to cure that problem, I am very sure and confident that my good minister, who is right there seated, I think he seems to be smiling, although you can't see this, he smile because he's on a mask. Madam Speaker, this bill here is very, very important. So for me, one thing, my other comment I want to say is that I talk about there's been a contradiction between Nietzsche, the role of Nietzsche, and the role of NCDC. Now that this bill is helping us to sort out that this argument, I am very sure my only appeal to him as a minister is in charge of higher education, that he should actually be thinking of bringing now the amendment that has been stated here, say we don't have conflict of interest, conflicts when people are pursuing the job that they have been assigned to do. And I want to thank you so much, and I want to say, Madam Speaker, would actually, in my opinion, would actually not waste time, but we'll go to the next stage. I thank you so much.
Any other comments? Honorable Mede, then Honorable Arthur.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the chance. I thank the Minister and the committee on the bill. Honorable Minister, I would like to draw your attention to the committee recommendation that the NCDC hasn't been at the helm of executing its mandate. This is very, very, very critical and very serious. It hasn't been at the helm both at the formation of the curriculum and at the implementation of the curriculum so they have generated. It hasn't lived up to that. The curriculum seems to be driven by development partner dictates, not the national interests, the nitty-gritty of the national interests, the manpower requirements of the nation, the availability of the resources of the nation, the pace at which the curriculums are churned out vis-a-vis the empowering of the people who are supposed to implement the curriculum. I refer to the debate we had last year. Even before that, Parliament raised pertinent issues when this new teaching mode was being rolled out. To what extent did you take these concerns seriously? There have been non-governmental organizations doing research into our education quality and addressing very pertinent issues. To what extent have the NCDC bothered to address those issues? And they are very critical. There are kids who have finished senior 4 and they can't read vernacular. They can't write. I would like you to, for example, in the issue of quality control, where are the NCDC manpower experts when textbooks are being churned out with mistakes? Where are they? I'll give you a remote example where books, I think this could be Ruramogi, but instead they were given to the people of Butevo and maybe Palisa as Lubere. That is not right. Teachers themselves don't understand the curriculums. You have taken several years to develop these curriculums, but you only give it 3 days to take through the people who are going to implement the curriculums. I beg that you put more interest in addressing those nitty-gritties to better the standards of education. Thank you.
Now, Arthur.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and my colleagues. Honorable Minister, thank you for this initiative. Chair, thank you for the information you have just given us. Madam Speaker, technological advancement is making the world become a global village. We have become a global village because of IT, because of the use of computers, the internet, and so on. I wish that the Curriculum Development Center will come out with an affirmative action where there is a deliberate distribution of computers, even in rural schools. Now, these days I hear people are talking about the use of computers, the use of IT for studies. How can those people in the rural areas, say in Umoyo, in West Nile, or Karamoja, or Kisoro, in the rural areas, have access to this information from the universities when they do not have computers? So, Honorable Minister, please let us have that deliberate affirmative action and distribute computers in all the rural schools, both secondary and primary schools, so that our children can be able to have access to quality education. So I'm happy with this report. Please let us, Madam Speaker, let us go ahead and approve this initiative without wasting time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honourable Minister, I just have 2 questions. Do you still have vernacular teachers in this country? Are you still training them? Secondly, what Honourable Atiku said is a very, very important point on the issue of manpower development plans of this country. For instance, we have one pathologist. If he died today, I think there will be no postmortems in this country. So how are we planning for the different services of this country? I don't know who can answer that. Yes, Minister.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and my dear colleagues. I want to thank the colleagues who have spoken for supporting this amendment. And I want to agree with them over quite a number of challenges you have raised. And exactly this amendment is coming to provide a cure to those challenges. Many people going through our education system, and then at the end of the day, they cannot fit into the employment world. Those are some of the issues you have raised, but I think here the amendment, as the committee report says, we'll be having review of what is taught to our children every now and then. Number of stakeholders, especially the employers, who are not part of the curriculum development body, now they have a say in influencing and deciding what is being taught to our children, what type of skill does the job market need. These are issues that will now be considered before a new curriculum is rolled out. Chair, I just wanted to say thank you to the members for adding to the challenges we've been having, and this amendment is going to address the challenges. My brother, we need really seriously to consider the manpower planning. We seriously need to do that. That one is, I think we can handle it another day. But as my colleague Ada talks about computers in all schools, we have started on a program that's going to see to it that all our schools have got access to the internet, have got the skills needed to make all our learners computer literate, because today we cannot do without computers. Right Honourable Speaker, you talked about vernacular teachers. You remember that time when we were during those colonial days, we used to have the teachers who are prepared, trained to teach, specifically to teach the local languages. We used to call them vernacular teachers. They were not professional teachers, but they were being prepared just to teach the local languages. That was not, they were not even qualifying to be called certificate teachers. As we progressed, as we developed, we ruled out that. Now, in the teacher training institutions, we insist that teachers are taught or equipped with the skills to prepare Ugandans into their languages, the local languages. Now, this what we are having now are more advanced. No, they are not studying only to be vernacular teachers, but they are prepared, some to be vernacular teachers, but even do other things. The issue of having one pathologist, actually, as I said, this curriculum amendment is going to cure that, because now we are going to be in touch with the market. Now that you are saying one pathologist, that means there is a demand for more. And the curriculum and the ministry, that's where we are going to put a lot of emphasis. Once we get to know that there is a need here that is not satisfied and there is a need, there is the market is there, that's where we now started to encourage our learners to invest, the learners and the institutions. I raised my case, Madam Speaker.
Okay, honourable members, the question is that the bill be read for a second time. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
The National Culture and Development Centre Bill 2020, Bills Committee stage. The National Cultural Development Centre Amendment Bill 2020, Clause 1.
I put the question that Clause 1 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it. Clause 2. Put the question that Clause 2 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it. Clause 3. Clause 3, Honorable Chair.
Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, the committee proposes an amendment on clause 3 and proposes to replace clause 3 with the following. 3 replace section 7 of the Principal Act, and section 7 of the Principal Act is substituted with the following. Membership of Council. 1. The governing body of the Center shall be the Council consisting of the following members. A. The permanent secretary of the ministry responsible for education, or his or her representative at the rank of principal officer or above. B. The permanent secretary of the ministry responsible for finance, or his or her representative at the rank of principal officer or above. C. The permanent secretary of the ministry responsible for labor, or his or her representative at the rank of principal officer or above. D. One representative of the national examination bodies appointed by the minister. E. The executive director of the National Council for Higher Education, or his or her representative. F. The director of basic and secondary education, or his or her representative at the rank of principal officer or above. G. The director of education standards, or his or her representative at the rank of principal officer or above. H. A representative of the private sector foundation. I. The director of the Federation of Uganda Employers, or his or her representative. J. The director of National Union of Disabled Persons of Uganda, or his or her representative. K. The chairperson of the Vice Chancellor's Forum, or his or her representative. L. A representative of private schools and private education institutions who shall be recommended subject to approval of the minister. M. Not more than 3 other members appointed by the minister, who shall be persons qualified as having experience in the practice and administration of education. 2. At least 1/3 of the members appointed by the minister shall be women. Justification: to provide for a membership of the council which is relevant to the mandate of the National Curriculum Development Center and provide for gender balance.
Honorable Ogon.
Madam Chair, knowing very well that we are talking about issues of curricula, and we need the experts in that committee, in my opinion, in that council. There seems to be a big number of representatives who may not necessarily bring the expertise that we need. So I don't know whether the committee has something to say about it. Don't you have people who are directly well qualified to be in that council in terms of expertise, so they bring on board what we really want, Mr. Chair?
Honorable Chair.
Madam Chair, and I thank my colleague Honorable Ogon for what he has raised. But Madam Chair, if you read the list, you will find that the positions are clearly specified. But we put in representatives in the event that the substantive position holders are already held up or occupied in other positions. And I'm sure we are aware of the workings of government, that these offices are represented by the competent and qualifying persons. So the first provision is the substantive office holder. And in the event that that person cannot deliver or is not available, then that person should provide a representative. Thank you.
What does the minister say about the proposals? But also, you do not want anybody from the universities? Honorable Chair? From the university?
Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, we have the chairperson of the Vice Chancellor's Forum already catered for here.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I'm in agreement with my chair because these officers are competent people. They have been tested before they get promoted to the rank of principal. They have no doubt they have the competence that is needed to perform the job.
Members have put the question that clause 3 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no.
Clause 3 as amended.
Question is that clause 3 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no.
Clause 4.
Put the question that clause 4.
Madam Chair.
Honorable Chair, you have something?
Madam Chair, the committee proposed an amendment to replace clause 4 with the following. Amendment of section 10 of the Principal Act. Section 10 of the Principal Act is amended in subsection 1 by deleting the word ex officio. The justification is to enable the minister to appoint as a chairperson any member of the council.
Honour members, you have no objection? Honour members, no objection? Yes, Honourable Ogon.
My opinion would be we let that council to appoint amongst their numbers their chairperson. I don't know what the chair thinks about and what the minister thinks about it. It would be good that they get somebody amongst their numbers. What would happen now in the event that the person gets a problem? Do we have to wait and look for the minister? Thank you.
Honorable Savunya.
Maybe before Honorable Savunya says, Madam Chair, this is a committee which is standing. It is not an ad hoc committee. Therefore, a chairperson is appointed for a long period of time and appointed for a process, and is still again appointed from among the members already identified to constitute the council.
Yes, Madam Chair, I think I would also go with the committee that the chair should be appointed by the minister, given that it's a full-time commission, and that we don't want politics within the committee to develop out of elections of this and of this one and not the other one. And so I would propose that the chairman remains so, and all members are not ex officios. They are full-time members of the curriculum. Thank you.
Honour members, the question is that clause 4 be amended as proposed. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. I have it.
Clause 4 is amended.
Question is that clause 4 is amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. I have
Clause 5.
Honourable Chair, clause 5. But I think there's no amendment. Put the question that clause 5.
No amendment.
Clause 5 do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. I have it.
Clause 6.
Honourable Chair, clause 6.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes that clause 6 is amended by substituting for the words 12 members, the words 2/3 of all members of the council. The justification is provided for a quorum that is reasonable for decision making.
Does the minister have an objection to that? You okay with it?
Right Honourable Speaker, I consent.
So now members put the question that clause 6 be amended as proposed. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no.
Clause 6 as amended.
Questions clause 6 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no.
Clause 7.
Honourable Chair, clause 7.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes that clause 7 is amended by deleting paragraph C and also by inserting 2 new paragraphs immediately after paragraph B as follows. As C, Skills, Needs and Special Committee. D, Accreditation and Certification Committee. The justification is with the provision in paragraph C is redundant since the Public Finance Management Act 2015 provides for audit committees under section 49. Secondly, the insertion of paragraph C and D is to provide for the Skills, Needs and Special Committee with the view of combating skills mismatch in the labor market and a committee for accreditation and certification respectively.
Now, Honourable Chair, you are saying that the managers of this NCDC will look to the Public Finance Management Act for the Audit and Risk Committee?
Yes, Madam Chair, but the law already provides for it, so you cannot have an independent Audit and Risk Committee.
Yes, Cyrus.
Just to find out from my chair whether it is a cross-reference to the law we are referring to, so that we refer it to the Public Finance Management Act. Is it mentioned there? Is there a provision, or it is not necessary? I thought it would be good to be clear that in matters pertaining this, refer to this existing law. Thank you.
Madam Chair, if Honorable Algon is asking whether we have captured that cross-reference in terms of the text of the amendment, we've not. We've only highlighted that there is no need for that committee because the Public Finance Management Act under section 49 already provides for it, and these public institutions know it. It's already in practice.
Yes, Honorable Sabunya.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, all MDAs, all ministries, departments and agencies are assumed that the law on Public Finance and Management Act works in all of them. So they must have a Department of Accounts, they must have audited accounts, and therefore there is no need to have an independent clause in the said act, in the said bill. So the other one works across board.
Come again?
I have said that all ministries, departments and agencies of government work under the Public Finance and Management Act that we passed here in Parliament. So there is no need for an independent clauses, maybe just for emphasis to cross-reference that in this matter, the Public Finance and Management Act shall prevail. But it is assumed that all MDAs work under Public Finance and Management Act. including private institutions which are related to government.
Can you read section 49 of the Act so that we get the input? Yes. Yes, Honorable Dimi.
Yes, Madam Chair, this is committees. I've seen the Committee of Finance, General Purpose, Appointments, the Committee of Audit and Risk Assurance. It is different from what they are referring to, section 49. So I propose that it remains.
What's the text? Because I also don't understand why you want to remove it and say there's another law somewhere. Where has he gone? Yes, Honorable gone.
Madam Chair, it does no harm for us to maintain the existing law for clarity. That is why I was even trying to say, why don't we cross-reference if we are confident about what we are talking about? For purpose of traceability of the law, the person who is trying to find the law should find it easily. But in this case, even when you go to that 49 and you read it in detail, you might find that really we need to reserve what we already have in the existing law. What damage will be created if we decided to retain it?
Honorable Kodot.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank colleagues. And honestly, there is no damage or no harm that this would cause. So we can maintain it on top of the other committees that have been proposed. Thank you.
Honourable members, I put the question that clause 7 be amended by adding subclause C and D as proposed. Those in favor say aye. Those in favor say aye. The contrary, no. And the provision will be subsequently numbered. Question is that, yes, put the
clause 7 as amended.
Put the question that clause 7 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. The contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Clause 8.
8, Honorable Chair.
Madam Chair, the committee proposed an amendment to clause 8 by replacing paragraph D with the following. D, a dean of faculty of education of a university appointed by the minister. And also by substituting paragraph E with the following. The heads of the academic departments of the center. In the paragraph, amending paragraph F by replacing the entire paragraph with the following. One representative of each of the national examination bodies. And the justification is twofold. One, amendment in paragraph D is to provide for the appointing authority of a representative of the dean of a faculty of education of any university, whether private or public. And then the amendment in paragraph E is to provide for a representative of each of the national examination bodies.
Okay, Minister, you have no problem. Honourable members, the question is that clause 8 be amended as proposed. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no.
Clause 8 as amended.
Question is clause 8 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no.
Clause 9.
Clause 9, there's no amendment. I put the question.
Madam Chair.
You have an amendment?
Clause 9, which is amendment of section 8 of the Principal Act. Clause 9 is amended in paragraph A by replacing subsection 4C of the Principal Act with the following. Education practitioners at the pre-primary, primary, secondary, tertiary, and higher levels of education. And also by deleting subsection 4D of the Principal Act. In paragraph B, by substituting the word 3 with the word 5. The justification, one is to elaborate the various levels of education in Uganda so as to avoid misinterpretation of the law. Then 2, it is a consequential amendment arising from amendment of subsection 4C of the Principal Act. And then the last one is the amendment in paragraph B is to increase the period of service of a subject panel from 3 to 5 years.
Members put the question that clause 9 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 9 as amended.
Question is that clause 9 as amended to stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no.
Clause 10.
Clause 10, Honorable Chair.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes that the entire provision be replaced with the following. As 10, amendment of Section 20 of the Principal Act. Section 20 of the Principal Act is amended by substituting for subsection 5 the following. At all meetings of the board, a 2/3 majority of all members shall constitute quorum. Justification is just for consistency.
And members, we already had a provision to that effect, so it's in many ways consequential. I put the question, clause 10 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 10 as amended.
Question is clause 10 as amended to stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 11.
Clause 11.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Oh, there's something there.
The committee proposes that clause 11 is deleted, and the justification that the provision is redundancy. The council has the powers to appoint such officers as it considers necessary for the efficient discharge of its functions at the center.
And the members put the question, clause 11 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
12.
Clause 12.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes that the entire clause 12 be replaced with the following. 12, amendment of Section 31 of the Principal Act. And Section 31 of the Principal Act is substituted with the following. Report of the center's activities. The council shall, not later than 3 months following the end of each financial year, submit a report to the minister on the activities of the center. 2, the council shall submit such other reports within such time as the minister may require. Justification is to require reporting by the council on the activities of the council.
Now, members, the proposal is that the entire 31 be replaced as proposed by the chair. Yes, Honorable Silas.
Madam Chair, I consider the 3 months a little too short. At least we raise it to 4, so that you report 3 times in a year, and also to give those people time to prepare. So I would consider 4. Thank you.
Isn't 3 more like the quotas? But are you going to do different accounting periods for different institutions?
Maybe if we are doing it in terms of alignment with other reporting requirements. But I thought that the 3 months would be small. I was even thinking of putting it a half yearly, 6 months.
What does the MUFA say?
Madam Chair, we are in a global village, and then we are talking about information technology. We don't even need to go beyond a quota. A quota is adequate enough to have every report that is required to be ready, so that those who are supposed to take decisions should actually take decisions early enough, other than prolonging issues, and that will cause kind of a delay in the implementation of maybe some of the activities. I would propose the quota here is okay, the 3 months is okay. We don't need to go beyond that. We are talking about information technology. The report should be ready before even a month. But now that we are just being cautious that we are not yet there, so let's go by quarter.
Minister?
Chair, for us, 3 months is okay. The most important thing is to be able to report to the minister at least a quarter, 3 months before the year comes to an end. Although I don't see a big difference there between 3 and 4. What is important to me is the reports are presented at least 3 months before the financial year comes to an end.
No members, but now that's a slight amendment to. Why don't we go with what the committee has proposed? Okay.
Chair, exactly what I'm saying is that for me, I'm very happy with what the committee has proposed. 3 months.
Okay, now members, question is that clause 12 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 12 as amended.
Question is clause 12 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
The title.
Members have put the question that the title do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Motion for the House to resume.
Honourable Minister.
Right Honourable Chair, I beg to report that the committee of the whole House, I beg to move that the House do resume and the committee of the whole House reports thereto.
Now members, the question is that the House do resume and that the committee of the whole House report thereto. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Please have it.
Report from the Committee of the Whole House.
Now, Minister.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the bill with the following amendments of clause 3, clause 4, clause 6, clause 7, clause 8, clause 9, clause 10, clause 11, and clause 12.
Motion for adoption.
Motion for adoption of the reports of the Committee of the Whole House.
No, Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and dear colleagues, I beg to move that the report from the Committee of the Whole House be adopted.
No, members, the question is that the report of the Committee of the Whole House be adopted. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Bill third reading.
Minister, third reading.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the National Curriculum Development Centre Amendment Bill 2020 be read a third time and do pass.
Now, members, question is that the bill entitled National Curriculum Development Centre Amendment Bill be read for a third time and do pass. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
A bill for an act entitled the Uganda National a bill for an act entitled the National Curriculum Development Center Amendment Act 2021.
Title settled and bill passes. Thank you very much, the Minister and the members, for accomplishing that responsibility. I don't know, Chair of Trade, you are here? Are you able to do the other item? Oh.
I just want to thank you and the honorable colleagues for the support and that even last minute amendment. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chair, and the members of the Education Committee.
Madam Speaker, I would propose that I can read the report today and then debate ensures tomorrow, and then maybe the other day we pass the bill. Just read the report.
I don't know. Is Honorable Forrest ready for the second bill? How big is it? The one of examinations. Are you ready for the second reading?
Yeah, we are ready for the second reading. The bill, the report of the Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industry on the accreditation for conformity assessment bill.
We're asking the Minister whether he's ready for his other small bill.
Right Honorable Speaker, your Minister is here to work. If my chairman has no objection, for me, I'm ever ready.
Okay. Let's go for the second reading, National Examinations Amendment Bill.
Bill second reading, the Uganda National Examinations Board Bill 2020.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled Uganda National Examination Board Bill 2020 be read for the second time.
Is it seconded? The motion is seconded? Seconded by several members of the House. Proceed.
Right Honorable Speaker, the objective of the Uganda National Examination Board Bill 2020 are the following. A, to provide for Uganda National Examinations Board to regulate and oversee the national examinations. B, to harmonize the Uganda National Examinations Body Act with the other existing government policies and laws. C, to define powers and functions of the Uganda National Examination Board with regard to preparation, organization, and administration of national examinations. D, improve the standards and the quality of national examinations conducted by the Examination Board. E, address new and emerging challenges affecting the administration and the management of national examinations. F, repeal and replace the Uganda National Examination Body Act Cap 137, which was enacted in 1983. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Is our report ready, Honourable Chair?
Madam Speaker, the report is ready, and Madam Speaker, I want to thank you and applaud the House for giving us the opportunity to present the Uganda National Examination Board Bill 2020 and have it read. This report was read for the first time on 14th July 2020 by the Minister of State for Education, in charge of Primary Education, Honorable Seninde Rosemary Nansubuga, and was referred to the Committee on Education and Sports in accordance with Rule 128 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. And Madam Speaker, before I can present the report any further, allow me lay on table the minutes copies of the committee proceedings and other correspondences and documentations to do with the process of scrutinizing the bill. Madam Speaker, I beg to. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister has already stated the object of the bill. I will quickly run through the document in the interest of time. And for the methodology, which is 3.0, while considering the bill, we held meetings and received memoranda from so many stakeholders listed below, and we can refer to them in our iPads. We also called for submissions on the Uganda National Examination Board Bill 2020 through public notice. That was placed in the New Vision and Daily Monitor on Monday, 24th August 2020, and we also scrutinized the submissions by the different stakeholders who responded, and these are Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, the Initiative of Social and Economic Rights, and Mr. Jonathan Kivumbi. Madam Speaker, the views of the stakeholders as listed, you will see Ministry of Education and Sports, Uganda National Examination Board with their views, National Council for Higher Education, National Curriculum Development Center, the Uganda Allied Examinations Board, the Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board, Education Accelerators Limited, Uganda Police Force, the University's Vice Chancellor's Forum, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, the Initiative for Social and Economic Rights, and Mr. Jonathan Kivumbi. So I implore members to read their views on your own in the interest of time. 5.0, Madam Speaker, I want to give the general observations. I don't know if it is okay if we skip to that.
Our recommendations.
If honorable members.
Maybe it's important to point out 5.1 and 5.2. Perhaps those are important. The SDGs are important.
Okay. So, Madam Speaker, thank you for the guidance. So, 5.0 general observations, and 5.1 is compliance of the Uganda National Examination Board Bill 2020 with the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda 1995. The bill seeks to promote the rights of education as provided for under Article 30, and in observance of the fact that government is responsible for education policy. See Article 189 and Schedule 6 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. The bill is generally intended to ensure proper management of national examinations at primary and secondary school levels, and to ensure credibility of academic awards by Uganda National Examination Board to successful candidates. 5.2, compliance of the Uganda National Examination Board Bill 2020 with the United Nations 2030 Agenda on Sustainable Development Goals. SDG number 4 ensures inclusive and equitable quality education and promotes lifelong learning opportunities for all. The Uganda National Examination Board Bill 2020 focuses on attaining an education system that will produce a human resource with the relevant and competitive skills essential for national development through formal certification of learners' academic achievements that contributes significantly for students to gain employment. The committee envisages that by 2030, Uganda would have in place education systems that would ensure that all girls and boys complete free, equitable, and quality primary and secondary education, leading to relevant relevant and goal for effective learning outcomes. SDG number 10, which aims at reducing inequality within and among countries, will be realized once the human resource is well equipped with the requisite skills necessary for employment, and subsequently, this would reduce the poverty levels, thereby reducing on inequalities within and among countries. 5.3, Principles of the Uganda National Examination Board Bill 2020. The bill seeks to competitively position Uganda students for global opportunities that can be attained through a well-established, coordinated, and functional national examination board with an efficient examination system that produces formal certifications that are recognized and respected worldwide. 5.4, Compliance with the principles of gender and equity. The committee observes that the bill is in consonance with Article 33 of the Constitution of Uganda, 1995, that provides for the rights of women. The committee further observes that Clause 6.4 of the bill requires the minister to ensure that a third of the members of the board are women. 6.0, Specific observations and recommendations. The committee observes that there are emerging interests from some state and non-state actors seeking representation on the board of directors, see Clause 6 of the Examinations Board, on account of their key roles and contributions to the education sector in Uganda. The committee received proposals from the following stakeholders to amend Clause 6 of the Clause 6 to provide for their representation on the board of directors of the Examinations Board. The Uganda Police Force, on account of its outstanding role in not only securing the entire exams period and related aspects, but conducts investigation in cases of malpractice as well. The committee further observed that in the current UNEB Act, Cap 137, the Uganda Police Force is not represented on the board of directors. The committee was informed that the minister responsible for education invoked Section 61F of the UNEB Act, Cap 137, to appoint 3 other members from the public, one of whom was drawn from the Uganda Police Force, to constitute part of the board of directors of the Examinations Board. Recommendation. The committee recommends that given the key responsibilities Uganda Police Force has executed over the years in securing the entire exam cycle, it should be represented on the board of directors of the Examinations Board. B. Other examination assessment bodies like Uganda Business and Technical Education Board, UBTEB, Uganda Allied Health Examination Board, UAHEB, and Uganda Nurses and Midwives Board, UNIMEB, were noted to determine the fate of the interests of students who may wish to join technical, vocational, education and training, TVET, after completing their primary leaving examinations, Uganda Certificate of Education, and Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education. So the committee recommends that other exam assessment bodies should be represented on the board of directors with a view of promoting institutional linkages and learning. Observation C. The Education Accelerators Limited, an association of schools that use international curricula, that is in observance and recognition of Objective 18.3 of the National Objective and Directive Principles of State Policy enshrined in the Constitution, and as a result of government's policy on liberalization, international schools have established operations in Uganda and attracted interest from across a cross-section of the parents and guardians opting to enroll their children in such schools. The committee recommends that whereas government policy on liberalization of education sector allowed for operation of private education institutions in the country, adherence to legal and institutional regulatory frameworks would be necessary as opposed to representation on the board of directors of the examination board. 2. Observation 2. Whereas clause 41E of the bill tasks UNEB to, upon request by any person, determine equivalence of qualifications awarded by another examining body with corresponding qualifications awarded by the examination board, it does not take into account technical limitations UNEB has in equating qualifications awarded by other examination bodies. The committee received concerns from Uganda Business and Technical Examination Board, UBTEB, Uganda Allied Health Examinations Board, WAHEB, and Uganda Nurses and Midwives Board, UNIMEB, that the clause 41E of the bill undermine their efforts, yet they have the required technical skills and capacities to execute this task. The committee recommends that UNEB should determine the equivalence of such qualifications only in consultation with the relevant awarding institution or body. Observation number 3. The bill under clause 41E presumes that UNEB was privy to curricular design processes undertaken by other examination bodies, that including foundation bodies of international schools, prior to using the same during teaching and administering of examinations, as well as technical capability to synchronize, streamline, and corroborate such awards with those issued under the national education system, which may not be the case. The committee received a proposal from Education Accelerators Limited to have awards issued to learners who attended training in international schools to be scrutinized by UNEB in accordance with clause 41E as a precursor and or precondition for admittance to next levels of education in the national education system. The committee recommends that UNEB, in consultation with the relevant examination assessment bodies for international schools, should conduct joint assessments of awards issued to learners that attended such schools to determine their eligibility for admission to next levels of education in the national education system. 4. Whereas the bill under clause 37 compels any person or body to furnish information to the examinations body and penalties for some offenses, it does not make any specific reciprocal provision compelling UNEB to furnish information requested for by any person or body to help in the discharge of their duties. The committee therefore recommends that information so requested should be that of which UNEB has a legal mandate. Observation 5. The title of the bill envisages and suggests a national character in the preparation, conduct, and supervision of exams at primary and secondary level, which is the same with other examination bodies like UBTEB, WAHEB, and UNIMEB, that also take a national character when preparing, conducting, and supervising exams, but are not expressly mentioned. The committee received proposals from other examination bodies to review the title of the bill to reflect the preparation, conduct, and supervision of exams at only primary and secondary levels. The committee recommends that the title of the bill should be retained, given that UNEB conducts exams only within its mandate. Observation 6. The bill under clause 6 provides for dual appointing authorities for board of directors of the examination board, where the president on one hand under subclause 2A appoints the board chairperson, and the minister on the other under subclause 3 appoints other members of the board of directors. The committee further observes that the bill maintained the original position in the UNEB Act on appointment of the board chairperson by His Excellency the President, or Her Excellency the President, when the case will be. So see section 1A of the NEB Act, Cap 237. The committee further observes that the current provision in the bill is bound to create accountability and policy formulation challenges, since the board chairperson and members are answerable to different appointing authorities. The committee recommends that in order to avoid cases of role ambiguity and accountability challenges, the appointment of board members, including the board chairperson, should be by the minister responsible for education. There was a general lack there was a general lack of consistency in the penalties prescribed by the various offences. For the various offences. And the committee was informed by the Vice Chancellor's firm that the penalties so prescribed may be too severe to shoulder, especially where the offender is a minor and under criminal law may not be held accountable to suffer such penalties. The committee recommends that given the need to ensure credibility and sanctity of exams conducted and certificates awarded by the examinations board, the penalties so prescribed in the bill should be maintained. 8. The bill under clause 43 considers oath of secrecy on political matters, on an optional matter that could be disregarded by the examination board, but which could ultimately lead to abuse of the entire exercise if not made mandatory. The committee recommends that UNEB should make it mandatory for all persons involved in the management of examinations to take and subscribe to the oath of secrecy. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, and honorable members, the committee therefore recommends that subject to the proposed amendments, the bill be passed into law. I beg to report.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair of the Education Committee and the members of the committee for that hard work that produced this elaborate report. So, honorable members, the report has been signed by the necessary minimum numbers. You are free to make your comments. Okay, Honorable Mutonyi, you have already spoken. Mutonyi, Honorable Esiagu, Honorable Gariwango. Let's start with those first. I've seen you, Amede, Augon, Abala, and Sovunya.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Before I make a comment, Madam Speaker, allow me to congratulate you on having successfully gone through the election.
Thank you.
And my colleagues who also went through the election. Congratulations. Madam Speaker, I wish to thank the Minister and the committee for the report. I just have one comment. I support the recommendation by the committee on the issue of the appointment of the board members and the board chairman. Madam, this has been a unique situation where the chairman of the board is appointed by the president and then the members are appointed by the minister. I think there would be delay in making decisions, and therefore I support the recommendation by the chairman or the committee that both the chairman and the board members be appointed by the minister, like in other ministries. The agencies, the other authorities, it is the minister that appoints the chairman and the board members. So I don't know why it was unique for the examinations board. So I support the stand of the committee that both the chairman and the committee members be appointed by the minister. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Then we shall go to Savunya. Mayday, Augon, Abara, Azza. Okay.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I'd also like to add my voice to congratulate you for the successful election and all the other colleagues.
Thank you.
Right Honourable Speaker, I want to also thank the chairperson for the good report, and I would like to support the recommendations. Right Honourable Speaker, I would like to support the idea of the police being a member of the board, because many times they've come in at a later stage after things have gone wrong. But if they are part of the organization and whatever is being discussed, they will be already alerting the masses and all the other stakeholders, other than being put on board when things have already gone wrong. I really support that. And also for the nurses and midwifery, Right Honourable Speaker, there was a scenario when some institutions went ahead to admit students who did not qualify for particular subjects. But if they have been sensitized by some of these stakeholders and they are part of the group, nobody will be held responsible or accountable, but all of it will be collective effort. All of them will be accountable. So I really recommend that all these people be brought on board, so that at the end of it all, if there are any questions, everybody is responsible. And then the equating, I really support it, because if every international school has its own standard, then it makes the whole ministry to be redundant. So if they do it jointly and anything happens, everybody will be accountable. So I want to thank the committee for the good recommendations, and I also support them. I want to thank you.
Honorable then Honorable Sawinya.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I also want to add my voice to my colleagues, congratulating you for successfully making it back. However, Madam Speaker,
thank you.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the committee, particularly on an issue of exam cheating. This is one of the key areas that UNEB has been grappling for a long period of time. And the recommendation given by the chair fits into this narrative. But I wanted, however, to say that other than taking the oath of secrecy, maybe we need to ring-fence this and put in some stringent measures, other than the police being incorporated in the board. Maybe UNEB has to take a keen interest in involving the police from the onset. Public awareness must be created, and this could be mandated by the police, so that a lot of energies are put in preventing exam leaking. When we look at the area of the international schools, so many of them have sprung up, and the cost of education is one of the issues that is making the cost very high. But at the end of the day, when you try to assess the products that come out from this international school, traceability is a problem. I have been taking keen interest in trying to find out what happens after completing, because they're in, for example, they're in primary level. After that, they don't fit into our secondary system very well. And then there is a gap created in between there. So maybe I want to concur with the chair that this position be harmonized so that it cuts across all the international schools that are operating within our school system, so that the grading system is put together and harmonized for the better of our education system. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think it's a day for congratulations. Now that we come in turns, I congratulate the Speaker for having sailed through and all other members who did. Now, Right Honourable Speaker, I find it either inconsistent, because when we start putting police on the boards, it's a bit funny. Okay, I know the board where we put the police, the Financial Intelligence Authority, but that was to do with investigation of illicit money, of money laundering and money laundered money, and I don't know why we find it so necessary. Otherwise, we don't just envy the police, but with all other institutions. Take, for instance, Electoral Commission. In fact, most of the problems we got here in the elections was to do with the police distancing itself with the Electoral Commission. Maybe we need them together, but being at the board will also bring some conflict of interest, whereby if the police person himself or somebody in the police who is influential has these problems with the UNEB, with these certificates, what will happen? I had a policeman in Nansana who was terrorizing everybody, including whether you are MP or what. So when we interrogated later, we found out that the man is not qualified, he is not educated. Now, if such a man who has a gun is not educated, now he wants his certificate verified or certified. So I find problems with the police being embedded with all these institutions, Electoral Commission, on the board, maybe on the commission next time. So we need to interrogate more and also find out in the police who exactly shall be seated there. Is it with the CID? Is it the big man himself? Is it the deputy? Much as we need the police in the process on the exam day, but where else do we need them? After discussing the okay?
Unawaza?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, Minister, for the initiative, and thank you very much, Chair, for the committee for the report. Madam Speaker, I have been the headmaster of Nile High School in Arua, and I'm the proprietor of that school. I've always picked the examination materials from the police station. They are the ones that keep these examinations materials in the police station so that they are secure and so that no cheating takes place. And I, for one, will say that the police should also be represented on the board because they already are part of the system. The materials are being kept in the police station and they normally follow and make sure that there is no cheating taking place. Thank you very much. That's the information I want to give you. Yes.
Okay, I don't know, Speaker, I don't just negate the problem, but we need to interrogate it more. The chairperson maybe needs to tell us where they got the idea from. Is it because the examination day becomes so embedded with the police everywhere on securing the exams? My question was, apart from the voting, the exam day, where else is the input of the police required? But if those answers are given and they have interrogated the matter Beyond that, then we shall agree, but we must be very careful with what we're doing. I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Ahmed.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I would like to draw the House to the issue of examination fees. When it comes to examination time, parents, children, the students themselves are under tension and a lot of stress. Even us members of Parliament, we are so stressed. The charge of examination fees is varied. Many times each school charges as they want. The charge of fees does not promote the spirit of universal education. It does not promote the SDG number 4, within number 4, that stands for inclusive education and education as a right. Many students miss out on examination because of charge of fees, and consequently their hard labor is laid to waste. Examination fees is impacting on the education of girl children. As many of them, if there is a boy child and there is a girl child within the school, the parent will opt to pay the fees of the son and leave out the girl. It equally is impacting on children from poor families. There are regions that are performing very, very badly, year in, year out. Why? Some of them, it is because of poverty. These regions...
This weekend on UBC.
You know, when God bless someone, or when God bless you, you become a blessing. You know, when you become a blessing, you can be able to
bless others.
Bless others.
The Ideation Corner is a space where ideas are discussed and dissected.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Double Data. Airtel introduces Double Data, the biggest deal ever on smartphones in Uganda. Buy a smartphone, 3G or 4G, and get 100% data bonus from Airtel. Airtel is giving you 100% bonus data on all weekly and monthly bundles for every new smartphone connected to Airtel for the first 3 months. Dial *175*9# to enjoy Double Data. Double Data, Double Data. Oh, bino bie biruma ba ya ye. Airtel, the smartphone network, regulated by Uganda Communications Commission. Stay connected to the largest 4G network in Uganda, anytime, anywhere, using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi, available at only 123,000 Uganda shillings. This comes with 15 GB free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 users at a go and still enjoy a shared yet unmatched internet experience. Dial *175*9# to activate free 15 GB. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network. Airtel is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Yes, yes, yes!
Dear children, this is Aunt Jovita again. I know all of you are just there wondering what is there for us tomorrow. The lockdown has affected us in different ways. But never worry, there's nothing that never comes to an end. We shall look at tomorrow when we are safe. We shall be there. We shall have fun. We shall play. We shall go back to school. We shall meet our friends. We shall have those birthday parties. We shall go swimming. We shall do all those activities that we are missing. I know that your school also misses you too. The classrooms are missing you. Your teachers are missing you. Your chairs are missing you. Your nannies are missing you. Don't forget that even the books are missing you. They want you to come and turn the pages and read and exhaust them. I love you, children.
Welcome to English in a Minute. Window dressing is arranging products in a store window to make them look nice and appealing.
Window dressing.
Anna, I just invested in this great new company, and you should too. It's a sure thing. And look at all the free stuff you get.
Ooh, you should be careful, Jonathan. All that free stuff could just be window dressing.
No way. The stock is doing great. Well, oh no, it's down 5 points from yesterday.
Well, at least you got a free bag and a hat.
Window dressing is meant to attract customers. That's okay for a store. But in daily life, window dressing makes something seem better than it really is. As you might expect, we mostly use this expression in a critical way. And that's English in a Minute.
You may have heard of physical distancing. This means keeping at least 2 arms length apart from other people at all times to reduce the spread of coronavirus. But why is it so important? Without physical distancing, each person infected with coronavirus will infect 2 to 3 others. Each of these people go on to infect 2 to 3 more, who each go on to infect another 2 or 3 people, and so on. Within a month, the infection will spread from 1 to 406 people. But if each person halves the number of people they come into close contact with, the number of infections drops dramatically. Each person would only infect 1 or sometimes 2 people, and each of those infected people would only infect 1 or occasionally 2 more. So the disease spreads much more slowly. In a month, the infection would only spread from 1 to 15 people. That's the power of physical distancing. Keep at least 2 arms length distance from as many people as you can to reduce infections and save lives. That way you protect yourself, the people you love, and your country.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health.
COVID-19, well, I'm Captain Curry Crusher, and no jam gets past me. Let's fight the disease together. We don't need capes, we got our masks, protecting others. That's our superpower. Let's grab the sanitizer, because we've grown wiser. Killing germs. That's our superpower. Let's wash our hands with soap and clean running water. Yeah. Only 30 seconds to save the world. Staying safe. That's our superpower. Let's defeat the bad germs and keep our distance. Fighting COVID-19! Hey, hey, that's our superpower! Be a good example. Be the hero. Keep a distance of at least 2 meters from others. Wash your hands with soap and clean running water. Wear your mask properly over your mouth and nose when you go out to prevent COVID-19. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and the World Health Organization.
Winston Churchill named it the Pearl of Africa. Uganda is probably one of the most gifted countries in the world. The people, the food, the love, the climate, the culture, the scenery, and the peace and tranquility. Join us as we take you through The Journey. The Journey, live and exclusive to UBC, your public broadcaster, inspiring Uganda.
Welcome to the enlightening, life-changing, and world-filled broadcast brought to you by Glorious Church of Christ Ministries,
where all saints are equipped for ministry through the revelation of the new life by the Word.
For the Bible says in 2 Corinthians 5:17, therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. The old things are past. Behold, all things are new.
Now, join Pastor Isaac Chituka every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. on UBC television as we experience and explore this new life in God through our Lord Jesus Christ. Now, the Word.
Stay connected to the largest 4G network in Uganda, anytime, anywhere, using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi, available at only 123,000 Uganda shillings. This comes with 15 GB free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 users at a go and still enjoy a shared yet unmatched internet experience. Dial *175*9# to activate free 15 GB. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network. Airtel is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Next time on the Road to Mamas Kampala 2021.
It's a shame. I've never been to Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Sheba joins forces with fellow Ugandan comedian Salvador to explore Queen Elizabeth Park and the unforgettable Kazinga Channel.
Road
to the Mama. The duo will team up with the Ghetto Kids to host South African global sensation Master KG.
I'm excited to meet you in person.
Here we go.
Oh gosh! Catch the Road to Mamas, hosted by Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
Shopping needs, come to Capital Shoppers. We have a variety of items like foods, garments, cosmetics, and all sorts of drinks. Enjoy your shopping experience at affordable prices in our fully stocked branches in the following areas: Ntinda Station Road, opposite Makere Business School along Portbell Road, Duster Street opposite Nakasero Market, and Garden City on Yusuf Lule Road. To all our customers and suppliers, we thank you for your continuous support. Stay safe, wash your hands, sanitize, and wear your mask always.
Welcome to English in a Minute. We all have a physical body that we can touch, and some people believe we also have a soul, a spiritual side of us. So what happens when we put them together?
Anna. Anna.
And soul.
You can put your body...
Up next on UBC, brought to you by
Keep the lights on. Use Airtel Money to pay for all your Yaka bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
Barabara kabisa, mpenzi mtazamaji wa UBC TV, karibu kwa taarifa zetu za leo, ikiwa ni tarehe 3 mwezi wa pili mwaka 2021. Naitwa Edwin Nyachwara. Ingawa kumekuwa na habari zilizoibuka siku chache zilizopita zikisema kwamba kuna watu wasiojulikana ambao walikuwa wamepanga kuleta fujo au na maandamano kwa siku 4 kuanzia tarehe 3 hadi tarehe 7 mwezi huu, lakini bado shughuli za kibiashara kwenye maeneo ya biashara mjini humu Kampala zimeendelea kama kawaida. Watu wanaendelea na shughuli zao na biashara hazijahusiwa au maandamano hayo hayashuhudiwa.
Hakuja kuwepo na fujo mjini siku ya leo. Kama wafanyabiashara, kinachotuleta hapa mjini ni kusaka hela. Kama kungekuwepo na maandamano na ghasia, singekuwa hapa sasa hivi. Sisi hatusikizi propaganda. Mimi natafuta pesa za kuniwezesha kupambana na mahitaji yangu na vile mahitaji ya familia yangu. Wale watu wanataka kuleta ghasia mjini, naamini kwamba hawana lolote la kupoteza au maisha yao iko sawa kabisa. Kwa sababu ya tishio la fujo na maandamano ya kisiasa humo mjini, biashara haijakuwa nzuri hata kidogo. Wanunuzi wamekuwa wachache mno kushinda wauzaji. Mimi hapa sijauza chochote kutokea nifungue biashara asubuhi. Biashara mimi imeniendea vibaya. Tatizo langu sio maandamano, na nungunikia maafisa wa mji wa Kampala KCCA ambao wamekuja hapa na kuchukua vitu vyangu. Sijui nifanyeje, kwani mimi ni mfanyabiashara mdogo na siwezi kukomboa duka na kuuzia vitu vyangu.
Asante sana Dennis kwa taarifa hiyo. Wakati ambapo taifa linasubiri hotuba ya Rais Museveni kuhusiana na swala la lini shule zote zitafunguliwa tena, shule nyingi kupitia wakuu wa shule hizo zimeamini kuwa zina uwezo wa kushughulikia wanafunzi na ziko tayari kuwapokea mara tu serikali itakapotangaza shule kufunguliwa tena. Kwa mujibu wa walimu wakuu, kuna nafasi ya kutosha kukidhi idadi ya wanafunzi mradi tu serikali itoe siku ya kufunguliwa. Mwanahabari wetu Silaje ametaandalia yafuatayo.
Mapema Machi mwaka 2020, Rais Museveni aliamuru kufungwa kwa shule zote nchini kama njia mojawapo ya kuzuia kusambaa kwa ugonjwa wa COVID-19, na wanafunzi zaidi ya milioni 15 walifungasha virago na kurejea makwao. Muda ulifika wakalegeza makali katika sekta ya elimu, na wanafunzi walio katika mwaka wa mwisho wakijitayarisha kufanya mtihani mkuu waliruhusiwa kurejea shuleni Oktoba 2020, na hali kama hiyo inasubiriwa kwa hamu na gamu na wanafunzi wengine wa ngazi ya 3, yani darasa la 6, kidato cha 3 na pia kidato cha 5 kuanza tena masomo yao. Katika shule moja ya msingi tuliyotembelea mjini Kampala ya Nakasero Primary, mkuu wa shule hiyo Bwana Abura Richard anasema ikiwa serikali itatangaza kuongeza darasa lingine, shule hiyo iko tayari kukabiliana na hali hiyo.
We believe that we can manage both the candidate and the semi-candidate class.
Mkuu wa shule hiyo anaimani kuwa wako tayari kufanya kazi, kwani wanafunzi sio wengi, yani ni kama 35 katika kila darasa.
It has been our duty to ensure that we keep reminding our children about, even when they are now seated together, we keep reminding them wear your mask properly.
Wanafunzi wachache shuleni na mkuu wa shule ya Makerere College wanasema kuwa baadhi ya walimu ambao wamepata ujuzi kutoka kwa Wizara ya Afya wa jinsi ya kushughulikia hali ya kuzuia kuenea kwa COVID-19 endapo wanafunzi watarejea shuleni.
We are picking on the essentials team that teaches senior 3 and senior 5 students who are going to come on board.
Muda mapumziko, masomo yalikuwa yakitolewa kwa wanafunzi kupitia mtandaoni, na endapo wanafunzi zaidi watakaporejea shuleni, mwalimu kwa asema pia mfumo huo wa kutoa elimu nao utaendelezwa.
Carrying out online studies on top of those that are given by the government through the Ministry of Education and Sports.
Shule zote tulizotembelea tumeshuhudia maagizo ya kinga dhidi ya COVID-19 yametekelezwa, na wanasema utaratibu huo utaendelezwa na watawaomba wazazi kuwekeza katika vifaa vya afya.
will be monitoring how they are implementing the SOPs.
Pia umelalamikia changamoto za kuwepo kwa vitendea kazi duni kama vile kuwapa makazi shuleni sio tu wanafunzi lakini pia walimu.
It is just like one class, the resources from one class, which is trying to, the school is running on the resources from that one class.
Majaliwa ya kufunguliwa tena kwa darasa zilizobakia kunategemea hotuba ya rais kwa taifa iliyopangwa kufanyika hapo kesho.
Rais Yoweri Kaguta Museveni amepokea nakala ya malalamiko ya kupinga ushindi wake kutoka kwa kundi la mawakili wa chama pinzani cha NUP leo kufuatia uchaguzi mkuu wa tarehe 14 Januari mwaka huu. Msajili kutoka mahakama kuu Bi Harriet Sally Lukwago alishuhudia wawakilishi kutoka pande zote mbili wakipatana na upande wote wa chama tawala cha NRM walipokuwa wanakabidhiwa nakala hizo.
Do not want the RDCs to participate again in electoral matters.
Jumatatu ya wiki hii kundi la mawakili kutoka chama pinzani cha NUP likiongozwa na mshauri wao Medad Lubega Segona walifikisha malalamiko kwenye mahakama ya kilele wakipinga ushindi wa Rais Yoweri Tibuhaburwa Museveni baada ya uchaguzi wa urais wa tarehe 14 Januari. Baada ya kufikisha malalamiko hayo mahakamani, hatimaye leo hii kundi la mawakili wa NUP wakiongozwa na wakili wa Mary Anthony wameweza kukabidhi nakala ya malalamiko hayo kwa katibu mkuu wa NRM Bi Justin Kasule Lumumba na mawakili kutoka kampuni ya mawakili ya Kiriowa Chiwanuka Company Advocates ili imfikie Rais Museveni. Zoezi la kukabidhi nakala hiyo kutoka mawakili wa chama pinzani cha NUP kwenda kwa Bi Justin Kasule Lumumba na mawakili wa rais kutoka kampuni ya Kiriowa Chiwanuka Company Advocates limefanyika mahakama ya kilele na kushuhudiwa na msajili wa mahakama hiyo iliyopo Kololo Bi Harriet Sally Lukwago. Baada ya kupokea nakala ya malalamiko hayo, katibu mkuu wa NRM Justin Kasule Lumumba amehutubia waandishi wa habari. Bi Kasule anaarifu kwamba mawakili kutoka upande wa NRM wako tayari kutetea ushindi wa chama cha NRM kwa sababu kila walichofanya walifanya kwa kufuata sheria.
But I want to tell members of NRM, those who voted His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, everything was done within the law, and we have our declaration forms ready.
Bi Lumumba anaeleza
Samahani basi, taarifa hiyo haijakamilika, lakini ndio hiyo. Idadi ya watu waliojitokeza kupiga kura katika tarafa ndogo ya Kitoba katika wilaya ya Hoima imekuwa ndogo katika uchaguzi wa viongozi wa LC ngazi ya 3. Mgombea mmoja amewataka wananchi kuwachagua watu wenye uwezo wa kuacha tabia ya kuwadharau wale walio na kasoro katika viungo vyao.
Martin Dorcas Mbabazi, mtu anayedhaniwa kuwa mfupi kuliko wote sehemu za Hoima na mmoja waliogombania kiti katika tarafa ndogo ya Kitoba, ameonya watu wa Hoima dhidi ya kuwadharau watu walio na kasoro. Mbabazi ambaye alisimama akitumia tiketi ya chama cha NRM ametupa kura yake katika kituo kilichokuwa katika shule ya msingi ya Kibanjwa iliyoko tarafa ndogo ya Kitoba wilayani Hoima. Mbabazi amesema hakufurahishwa katika kipindi cha kujipigia debe, kwani kila mahali alipokwenda watu wamekuwa wakimdharau kutokana na hali yake. Ameongeza kuwa licha ya ufupi wake lakini ana mawazo mazuri ya kimaendeleo ambayo yuko tayari kuyatekeleza ikiwa atatangazwa kuwa mshindi.
Atokwegesa okuko kutakumara then chairman 3 asangira na watakufayo okusanga abantu batakufuna obuhereza burungi abo kuba chairman 3 ni waina kurura nti ali political head wa madobona kandi nabole kyakike kiyokora kusanga batakusobora kuinterpreting local government act.
Mbabazi asema watu wa eneo hilo wanakabiliwa na shida za barabara mbovu, ukosefu wa vyanzo vya maji safi, matokeo mabaya ya mtihani katika shule zinazosaidiwa na serikali, umaskini na pia uhaba wa umeme katika baadhi ya sehemu za tarafa ndogo ya Kitoba.
Kirimo abantu abasomere no kurakurana kikurakurana speed ya mani niko na emigisende yona bwera baneja iyo kutoa emirimo nihereza abantu abasomere naitwa abanyakitoba tusobora kufuna mugisa ogwo kusuhereza y'abana baitu nabo bakole ikindi kijja kumanti engudo zaitu zifuire muno abanyakitoba tukubonabona muno tukubantu enda kuika main road nka main road ya kolasi obeza maram baitu okurura abanyakitoba nibabonabona muno kuba bakuba ni bahebi ebirimo byabo kugenda kuhikira katali.
Idadi waliojitokeza kupiga kura ilikuwa ndogo ikilinganishwa na uchaguzi uliopita.
This is Auntie Jovita, your friend, your mother, your mentor, and someone who wishes you well. And here I am today. I am talking about a very sensitive issue. This is teenage pregnancy. Avoid it, it's bad. And you can avoid it in the following ways. Avoid watching bad movies. Avoid being in secluded places alone. Avoid moving out at night. Avoid going into people's houses because they have called you to come and have a drink. Try to listen to your parents. Try to listen to your guardians so that you avoid some of these things. Avoid peer pressure. Because your friends, because you've seen people in your community, because you've heard of people who have done it and they are saying it's okay. It's never okay. Many of these things are happening because you're idle. Make yourself busy so that you do not have things that derail you from your dream. Dress decently, and in case someone makes advances to you, report them to your parents, report them to your guardians. Don't feel sorry for them because you are saving your life. Teenage pregnancy is associated with so many things. So we can avoid them and we become better people and we stay safe and we enjoy our tomorrow. Stay safe, avoid teenage pregnancy.
Tell me, how do you do? We're here to show some appreciation for the things you do.
Sent you for today, and we sent you for tomorrow. Sent you for every time and everywhere you go. We love you so, and we enjoy life with you. We are happy to know that we will go with you. That's why we say, sent you, yeah.
Thank you for choosing MTN. Use MTN mobile money, bundles or other services to get Thank You points. The more you use, the more Thank You points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Thank you.
Asante ndugu mtazamaji kwa kuwa mtazamaji wa UBC TV, kituo kinachokupa fursa kwa kuletea taarifa katika lugha ya Kiswahili na kukupa nafasi ya kusoma lugha ya Kiswahili kupitia kwa taarifa zetu. Hadi hapo kesho na kuacha na msemo usemao, umaskini si kilema na ulemavu si umaskini. Uwe na jioni njema.
Enjoy great value from Airtel with the all-new My Pakalast combo offers. We have customized especially for you the best deals on minutes, data, and SMS with our 3-in-1 My